Warning: the Not Thought podcast contains language and content that may not be suitable for younger audiences. Listener discretion is advised. There will also be spoilers for various anime throughout the course of this episode. Please use caution in case we discuss a series you haven't finished. Finally, the opinions expressed are those of the individual participants and may not reflect the Not Thought podcast as a whole. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to Dub Talk, where a group of cleaners come together to collect bounties, glitch the system, and maybe talk about some anime dubs along the way. I'm Jet, and I'm joined tonight by Noah.
You know, I'm super hyped for this show.
And Andrew.
God, you stupid son of a bitch. I was gonna go for the Gekomon voice, and then you immediately took it. And then I just blanked. Hang on, I gotta go for Kiramon or something. Hello there. I am pleased to meet you. I hope we can be friends, even if I have to use my Paralyze Echo! There. I saved it.
If it makes you feel better, I mean, you can still be Gekomon. I'll just pick a character from a different franchise. I'll pick a Tentamon or something.
I'm pretty sure you can do the Tentamon voice. Maybe.
I gotta dig down and get my my inner Jeff Nimoy voice out. I don't know if I can be that sarcastic though.
Alright, so if you couldn't tell by our bad references, we're here tonight to do another Digimon discussion. Specifically, we're here to talk about the newest Digimon series from Toei Animation, One Digimon BEATBREAK. To which, given Toei's general track record, I'm still shocked this got dubbed in a timely fashion.
And why would that be? Why would you not suspect that Toei, God Masters and oldest of all animation studios, wouldn't see to have this show dubbed on a timely manner?
For exactly the mentioned reason. Very old-fashioned, like, simuldubs? What's that?
Wow, this episode has been blocked before we even finished recording it. That's a new world record.
Let's get the GIF on screen there. We're all trying to figure out who did this. No, I mean, you're right. Like, Toei does have, from my experience with their dubbing record, it took a while to adopt some of the techniques that we're used to now. Like, we've been doing simuldubs for over a decade now. It's not a new phenomenon. And with an internet platform where people can regularly access the latest episodes pretty much as soon as they leave Japan, it makes no sense to withhold episodes, I mean, like, per se, release episodes a couple episodes at a time. Like, who would do that?
I also feel like it's worth noting for the point of tonight's discussion, the reason this is also surprising is that literally, like, 2 weeks prior to the first dubbed episode of the show we're covering tonight, we finally got the whole dub of the previous last Digimon original series. And I don't even think you can still watch it in the US currently.
Apparently I heard on a grapevine that one was produced by Toei UK and not Toei USA, so I don't know, maybe there's just some weird logistics holding it up from coming over here. I don't know.
Wait,
Yeah.
That's still crazy though, because like I've heard about the entirety of the dub of Ghost Game, and it sounds like a good one too. I've heard good things about it. Some actors I really like are major leads in that, and it's like, oh, that has been out for the same amount of time as episode 1 of what are we discussing tonight?
We're here to discuss One Digimon BEATBREAK.
For the same amount of time as Digimon BEATBREAK, which, you know what I realized in the middle of preparing for this episode? I think this is my first Digimon show.
You're kidding.
We have a very interesting range of expertise here. We have Noah, who, at least from my understanding, is a Digimon boomer of sorts. Like, the first main form series that most millennials grow up with.
I did not watch them during their original run. I was very much in my anti-shonen anime trend phase when it was airing on the 4Kids block back in the early 2000s, so I didn't catch it then. But since then, I have caught up with, yes, the first 4 seasons as they were streaming. I have not attempted to watch any of the other series, although I did watch all of the Adventures Try movie and the conclusion movie that came out. So, yeah, I have a good knowledge of the franchise, as well as some of the games that go with it.
Yep, and on the other end of the spectrum, we have Andrew, who pretty much knew Digimon. Literally, first thing he watched was like maybe a few months ago when we covered the adventure movies. So.
Literally, I think every time I have watched Digimon proper, it is because Jet has thrown me into a podcast recording and told me to watch it. Which the last one was literally like a 23-minute short. And I'm like, this is darling. This is adorable. But at the very least, I now have a much clearer understanding about how the Digimon life cycle kind of works.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of.
Kind of the how Digimon as characters, as creatures within this world operate. Like what differentiates them from other collectible animal characters in other franchises. You know, your Yu-Gi-Ohs, your Pokemons, your other stuff like that, you mean?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's very clear that, like, the reason I am here is because I am your guinea pig as somebody who knows little or has very little attachment to what Digimon as an IP means, which means you're not going to have me be, what is it, a Gen 1er, as they call it, like for Pokemon, where it's like, I only like it, the good old days of...
It's kind of funny because at least, I mean, I'm not like super into Digimon fandom, but at least like my general understanding of what the consensus is. There's kind of like a reverse Gen 1 problem. Like, everyone actually kind of wants the franchise to move on from Adventure, but Toei keeps coming back to it.
Which is what makes this particular series really great, because this is moving on from Adventure.
Yep. Speaking of which, I should probably give a quick synopsis of the series. So, from A&M, E-Pulse, which is generated by human thoughts and emotions, was used as the energy source for the AI support device Sapotama. From the shadow of this remarkable development, terrifying monsters appear. Digimon are living beings that evolve by consuming E-Pulse, and Toburo Tenma is drawn into an extraordinary experience after meeting Gekomon, who suddenly appears from his Sapotama. While living together with Kurosawa Shiro and the other members of the bounty hunting team The Glowing Dawn, Toburo renews his resolve.
Oh, hey, I see there's episode reviews of this Digimon BEATBREAK show, too. I'm very curious what this reviewer has to say. What kind of fucking dorky name is Cheris?
That guy sounds like a real loser.
Ouch! You guys, be nice to him. That guy's a friend of mine.
No, here's what it is.
Jet, shut up and stop insulting Jarius so much.
There's Jairus, and then there's the cooler Jairus, which is just the PFP of, like, that one guy from Run with the Wind that I associated with you for many years.
You're not the only one.
Was it Masa? Was his name Masa?
Yes, it was Masa.
Okay, cool. Anyways. Sorry.
But yeah, that's a good breakdown of what the show is about. Thankfully, they put that at the very beginning of every episode, in case you forgot what the premise is.
Yep, but like Noah was saying, this is a new Digimon entry, and we've, I guess we have been in, like, there's been sort of something of a revival of sorts in the last few years. There's been, not a steady amount of new Digimon stuff, but there's been something. I mean, we got the remake, which was a thing. All the new adventure movies.
We all had such high hopes. We thought, oh, it's going to be like recapturing the magic, but they're all going to be older, and it's going to be... This was before we had all kind of drawn, I think, tired of sequel series. Like, we're kind of inundated with those nowadays, but back when those movies came out, everyone thought, this is what I've wanted for like 15 years, and then we saw the final result and we're like, I don't know if it was exactly worth the wait.
Hey, at least last Evolution season it was good. The Try movies, not so much.
Yeah, you don't need to watch those, folks. It did not live up to the hype. Nor did it live up to Crunchyroll's, let's release, what was it, like, couple episodes, parts at a time until the whole thing is out.
I am here. I have no context for any of this. I know there's people with real strong feelings about them Digimons. So as the new kid in the corner, it's like, I know what that little dinosaur man is. And now I'm here.
Yeah.
And now I'm here.
Great, excellent. We're gonna not pop your Digimon cherry, but we are going to give it a thorough thrashing throughout the night.
It's like, yeah, but that definitely is an interesting one to come on to, because, Digimon as a franchise, what's kind of interesting about Digimon as a franchise is that you kind of never really know what you're going to get with each entry, like, and they're usually all about, like, different things, like, adventures, kind of, classic isekai with, a little bit of internet commentary, Tamers is basically, like, early internet sci-fi. You got stuff like Data Squad, which is basically just a battle shonen. And then you got this one, which is kind of going back to sci-fi a bit, and specifically cyberpunk, which is definitely a pretty fitting scenario to go with, given the current state of things we find ourselves in.
Oh yes, there's some stuff that feels very intentionally commentative on the state of the world. To address something that Andrew had brought up in outside of this podcast was kind of the tone of this show, of this particular entry, how it can go from lighthearted and very kid-friendly adventures to very dark, very mature addressing of topics that you probably weren't really aware of if you were a kid before watching this episode. And that's not unlike other entries in the franchise, like Tamers in particular addresses a lot of that, a lot of emotional baggage, a lot of abandonment issues, and there's some death in there. So this is not new for the franchise, but I can see why a first-timer...
It is certainly new for me, which... Can I just read? I literally wrote all this down because it was just too... It was so much for me to process. These were all different episode, like, one-sentence summaries over the course of, like, 4 episodes in the second half of what we're covering.
Back to back, yep.
The baby Pokemon saves the gang from a group of bullies. This child is traumatized from war and survivor's guilt and is basically marching to find a good place to die. Bergamon and Burpmon, those darn rapscallions. A Digimon and his owner who are war deserters because his Digimon has post-traumatic stress disorder and no longer wants to kill.
There's a little bit of a sweet and sour thing going on with those premises.
So, as somebody who was like, okay, this is a kid show that might have some things to say, and might talk a little bit about death or something, I wasn't quite expecting the literal dinosaur dressed up like a commando literally going, I don't want to kill anymore. I really didn't expect that. I think I should have, but I didn't. And that's on me.
There was nothing to prepare you. In between the wacky gecko character, like, eating all of the food, you would think, like, oh, this is going to be lighthearted and slappy, happy kind of stuff. But they don't prepare you for warfare, at literal war crimes.
They don't prepare you for human trafficking, either.
That came out of... Like, that is a little too dark even for this franchise. I was like... Someone saw that scene from Jurassic World where they were, like, auctioning off the dinosaurs and said, no, we gotta go even further with this. If this was happening in this world, we gotta include their humans in this as well.
Okay.
That's a thing that happens in one of the episodes, kids.
Oh, so how much of this show are we covering? Because from what I'm told, Digimon can sometimes run a little bit long.
Other Digimon series have run pretty long, like, usual track record is, like, 50 like 48 to 54 episodes, something like that. I think the last couple ran even longer, like Adventure 2020 was like 63, 64 episodes, and Ghost Game was like 67, I think. I'm pretty sure this one is supposed to be 48, but I don't know if that's been like directly confirmed. But
I'm not 100% sure, but as far as what I watched, it felt like I basically watched the end of a normal core TV show, or like the midway point of the season. So I'd say like 48 episodes sounds about right.
Yeah, that's really like the halfway point.
Yeah. So we'll be covering what's functionally. It does have a very definitive end at the 24 mark. Like you could say, like there is something that still needs to be resolved in the second half of the show. But for the most part, what they'd set up in the first 24 episodes is mostly resolved and is at a good stopping point where we are stopping. So if you people are listening to this and just want to like jump into into this particular series right from the start, this is a good chunk to go through episodes 1 through 24.
Frankly, it's kind of fascinating to be talking about a show that's effectively running and planned to run for one whole year, which that is basically just kind of a dying art in the current seasonal anime landscape.
Yeah, somehow Toei's more or less been the only entity that can still do it.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's either doing if you're doing a long-running series, it's going to go for as many hundreds of episodes as you can, or it's going to be the Netflix, make it a mini-series and that's it, binge model. Yeah, we got enough of those, so.
Yeah,
I'm excited to talk about this.
Yeah, this will definitely be a very interesting one to talk about. And definitely kind of interesting. Definitely kind of interesting in terms of how it's structured. Like, I'd say it's kind of similar to Adventure in the sense of each core is kind of evenly divided into its own arc. So, for the most part, we are essentially covering the first two arcs of the show. Mm-hmm. And with that, we are here to talk about the dub. So, as always, we're going to start the conversation with talking about the folks behind the booth with our ADR staff. So we've got our voice director and our script writers. So our voice direction for this show, we have the duo of Christy Marie and Ryan Johnston. And on scripts, we have Audrey Chamberlain and Mark Ryan. Ryan Johnson has directed such dubs as Twin Star Exorcist, Boruto Naruto Next Generations, and relevant to tonight's discussion, Digimon Adventure 2020. As for Kirsty Marie, while she does have production assistant credits on the OVA for Exception, at least according to A&N, this is her directorial debut, so this will be interesting.
Nice. All right.
Yep.
Good legacy to jump.
Yep. And as for Audrey Chamberlain, been around the block for quite a bit. Done scripts on such shows as Glitter Force, Digimon Adventure Try, and Digimon Adventure, specifically the original one, way back in 1999.
Nice. That explains some of the wording choices in this dub. We'll get to it.
Yep. Mark Ryan has also been around for quite a bit, and has done scripts on such shows as Digimon Fusion, the 4Kids version of Shaman King, and definitely an interesting little throwback for anyone old enough to remember this one, Flint the Time Detective.
Oh, wow.
Not familiar with that one.
Yeah, that's like a really bold one from, I think, like, early 90s, maybe, like, so, yeah, I've been around the block for quite a while.
Okay, I mean, I'm sure there was a choice, like, there was a very intentional choice, it sounds like, to favor some of the writers who are good at what they do, and maybe have just a touch of, like, the older way to dub things. Like, I'm looking through, like, writing credits, and I'm seeing stuff like stuff that starts with the word Saban should just give you an indication. We're talking, like...
This dub is being recorded in Studiopolis, who, with the exception of Digimon Ghost Game, has done dubs for basically every Digimon thing.
Exactly, and has been in the game for a while. So I kind of appreciate that. Like, if we can just talk about the strengths of this particular dub to assuage anyone who is still stuck in the past and thinks of Digimon's legacy in the dub world as like antiquated, bad puns, mismatched voices, like overacting, and especially the like bad music overdone to the audio that wasn't originally in the Japanese. They don't do that in this show. This is very much a 2026 production where they keep the original audio, they translate the dialogue so that nothing is lost in translation, but they do keep the flavor. They keep the fun flavor of characters bantering off each other, sometimes a little liberal retranslation of what the terms are, if it gets across the point, like it gets across the slang or the tone just fine, which I don't feel like we get a whole lot in other series. Like in modern series that are in simuldubs right now, not a whole lot of liberal adaptations with the dubs, I don't feel like.
I will say, there is, like, I can tell that this is, like, a modern product, but there's a couple of things that are still a little clunky here and there. That being said, I can certainly tell they are doing this with, at the very least, a PG-13 audience in mind, as far as, like, the localization. There's a couple of general swears that kind of get in there, but I think one of, like, the more uncouth jokes was the golden poo, and then you just see Tomoro just go, "Oh, that's a piece of shit. Don't say it!" I'm like, oh, I can't believe they got away with that. That's so strong.
I mean, it feels like what the original Japanese was going for, so it's not like they swore it up just to make it more appealing to
No, absolutely
immature
not.
teenagers. It was already like that.
But it was already like that, but that was definitely an excellent joke. I really appreciated that.
If I had to describe what I think the dub feels like, it's kind of like, if I had to describe it, do you remember that era of like 4Kids anime stuff that got uncut dubs or like uncut DVD releases?
Yeah, I in fact have the uncut DVDs of 4Kids Shaman King sitting on my shelf still.
Something about the Beat Break dub kind of feels like that, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I mean, it's aimed for that same target audience, which you could say that, well, 20 years has passed since then, but really have the audience has really changed all that much in the last 2 decades?
I'm going to be real. We just finished watching, like, video game news stuff, and I'm seeing people cheering about Tifa like it's the 90s still. So, you know what? Some things never change.
Exactly.
That said, they do keep they don't antiquate the technology of this show in the dub. Like, they do keep everything in line with what a modern viewer should be familiar with. Like, you know, we're not seeing these big clunky monitors anymore on computers. Everything is very streamlined, fits in your pocket, while still blending it with the I guess you mentioned in the discussions about like the poor town that doesn't really have technology but still takes Digimon in. That's still something that exists, you know? Like, people still live in antiquated towns that don't have advanced technology. So
it is a little weird to be watching a show where like the people you're rooting for are like the people who are like against the newfangled technologies. But at the same time, I'm also watching what the show has to say about the state of modern technology and modern internet. And it's kind of like, yeah, the fucking, the small town grandma and grandpa that's just cooking, like, takoyaki balls for, like, 12 people might be onto something. The internet might actually be horrible.
At the very merciful, you could say that the kind of people who are making the world awful are the ones who are gravitating too much into the and shitification of the world that the show is calling out.
Oh, this show may or may not have something to say about the state of the world and the people in power within it.
Politics and my Digimon, you must be joking.
What?
Politics in anime? That never happens. Anime's apolitical. Didn't you know that? I'm sorry. We're getting so screwed on the comments. Sorry. But
yeah, like you guys say, I do like how the localization's being done here. This so definitely not Ryan's first time directing a Digimon thing, and everyone here sounds pretty smooth. So I like what him and Christy are doing here. There is some stuff that's a little clunky here and there, but otherwise, for the most part, it all sounds pretty smooth, and I do like a lot of the localization choices here. Definitely kind of interesting that next to Digimon Adventure 2020, which was also a pretty one-to-one dub, but did still have to kind of acknowledge of the existing localizations with the old Adventure dub a bit. So you've still got the old dub names in there because, of course, you do. But this one is a little more free from those constraints. So aside from keeping all all the dub terminology but evolution's the same, it's otherwise probably the most faithful Digimon dub we've gotten from Studiopolis, and definitely a little surreal to think about, but that's pretty neat. Speaking of which,
I was gonna say, if I had to say, I think if there's one thing that I think bothered me is the realization I have seen too many anime or Japanese pieces of media to recognize exactly what was annoying me about, like, the Pandamon arc of the show, and realizing, oh, the reason it doesn't sound right is they're trying to say Big Bro or Aniki. And I know they're trying to say Big Bro and Aniki because I've seen just enough of this shit to understand what they're going for, so that when they're talking about calling each other sibling, it sounds a little clunky.
Yeah, I think Big Bro definitely would have worked better there, but I don't know. That is kind of a little bit of a hard one to work around.
Like, Big Bro is also less syllables, too. Sibling, you get, like, the third syllable.
Yeah.
So is this like,
even if
you
do
are
sibling.
my Nakama, we are keeping the word Nakama because it means friend and it's too powerful
Shut
to translate.
up! Shut up! Shut up! That you're... Fuck you.
Just use the reference. Like, we have the shorthand for a reason.
I hate it. I hate that you're kind of making me sound like the Nakama guy. I hate it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to...
But, I don't know. There's definitely something here that's kind of interesting about the localization. I wouldn't necessarily with the dub, but just like the show in general. I mentioned before that this is kind of, using the dub terminology with evolution. So, instead of baby, child, adult for the evolution lines, you've got rookie, champion, ultimate, and all that. And weirdly enough, that is also translated into the Japanese version a bit. Like, they're still using the proper terms as far as saying them, but like all the text has a dub terminology, and I think that's really funny.
Okay, so I as somebody who was new to it, I was kind of like trying to figure out, okay, what is the evolution line? Like, they called them in training. Okay, so in training, rookie,
champion, ultimate, and mega.
Ultimate and mega.
So you can definitely tell this came from Zabata in the 90s.
I was gonna say, it's kind of crazy to think ultimate is lower than mega to me.
It's funny because it's not the case for the Japanese evolution wise. It's like baby, child, adult, perfect, and ultimate.
Perfect. Wow, that's a lot of pressure on that child to grow up into a perfect being. I think there's a whole arc of Dragon Ball Z about how that goes awry. Just say, oh my god, is Cell a Digimon?
Yes, yes, he is.
Oh my god, I'm thinking about it. He has like at least 4 or 5 evolution. Oh my god, Cell's a Digimon.
No. Frieza is also a Digimon. This is long been confirmed.
No, shut up, shut up. You're ruining this bit.
It's not.
Frieza doesn't have a literal larval state, Noah.
Well, we don't see it.
I mean his second or third form does kind of look like Metal Greymon a bit.
Oh my god.
Thank you. This is my thesis statement, and if you will stick around for my TED Talk, we don't have time for this. I would like to just end off this one section, and we can move on with some of my favorite adaptive lines that got into the dub, which I have not gone through the whole Japanese audio to listen to see if this was like a direct translation or what, but I'm going to assume that these were not the original Japanese. What do you think? Original or extra crispy? I like holy mackerel.
I did like holy
Get bent. That was a great one.
Oh, that's okay. I've been trying not to compare this series to Persona because Persona is not the originator of everything. But hearing Zeno Robinson say "get bent," I'm like, oh my god.
I mean, that could have been an ad lib. We can't disprove it. This could have been that moment where what was it? Crispin Freeman talked about how when they were doing a dub, he was trying to adapt the lines of like, let's party, and he was like, no, we can do this way better, and he says, start the recording now, and he's like, this party is the bomb diggity, yo.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
I don't know, you're just mentioning Persona 5, and I just imagine Gilbert walking in like, here we are, the real glowing dawn.
Wow, it's a good thing nobody knows we're the glowing dawn. Jesus Christ.
It is a cool name. That's a cool name for a group. Or for your alternative rock punk band that you started in high school.
I was gonna say, Glowing Dawn sounds... It doesn't sound like punk to me, it sounds more like alternative. But I get the feeling, English, it's fine.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Golden Dawn, but apparently Toei had to change it at the last minute because it was a little... apparently a little too similar to, I know, the title of some alt-right Nazi group that was rolling around.
Shut up! What? Okay, hang on.
Once again, Nazis ruin everything.
You know what? That should not be a controversial statement. Nazis do ruin everything. I'm glad we're standing on business on this Digimon discussion.
Which, speaking of incels, my last favorite line, I thought when I turned 30 that I'd just give up and become a monk or a eunuch or an accountant.
Okay.
That one was beautiful.
Legitimately, that's not even an unrealistic thing. It's like, oh yeah, the 30-year-old guy who's mad he didn't get laid becomes a terrorist. That's just the state of the world.
Yeah, I don't think the writers had to dig very hard to think of that plot point.
But it's still goofy because he's just got a walking bomb with sunglasses, so it's still cute, I think.
Yeah. So, anyway, I'm done.
Yep. And with that, I suppose we should probably start talking about the cast of this show a little bit.
I will just say quickly, I do think the dub and like some gripes with translation, dub and like script, very strong, very good, very shonen, makes the brain chemicals go good.
Yep,
well said.
And now we're going to move on to talking about some of our supporting cast. So, we've got Hitomi Shimamiya, Masatake, Pandamon, Maki Kawatsuda, and Yoshimura. Hitomi is Sober's classmate who sometimes ends up getting roped into some of his problems. Sasatake is the boss of a Yakuza group called the Pandagumi who wants to protect his small town from a rival gang. Pandamon is a Digimon who gets adopted by Sasatake and basically becomes his child. Maki is a handler who mostly just gives out jobs to Glowing Dawn crew, just kind of hangs out with them a bit. And Yoshimura is another handler who works with Maki to help the Glowing Dawn on their gigs. And playing these characters, for Hitomi, we have Courtney Shaw. For Sasatake, we have Keith Silverside. For Pentabon, we have Mick Lar. For Maki, we have Lily Lammers. And for Yoshimura, we have Chris Hackney. Courtney Shaw has played such characters as Liz in Liz and Bluebird, Manatsu Kogarashi in Maiatsu Opening Act, and Lisa in Mazinger Z Infinity. Keith Silverside has played such characters as Hisoka in Hunter 2011, Lubon the Third in the Koike-verse Lubon the Third films, and Johan Liebert in Monster. McLaurin has played such characters as Captain Xenon and Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise, Shiyu Kong in Jujutsu Kaisen, and Leone Baccio in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind. Lily Lammers has played such characters as Jiggleby in The Seven Deadly Sins, Four Nights in the Apocalypse, and some bit roles in Shibuyugi and Hunter 2011. So, for the most part, this show first major roles. And for Chris Hackney, he's played such characters as Fred in The Sentence of the Bookworm, Subugu Kihara in Alone in the Sea, and Ed in Pokemon Evolutions.
I also will say, just because we're not including them for the sake of our own rules of, if we do not have direct confirmation, we will not be we're not, like, officially discussing them. But I did know you want to at least briefly mention, like, those two characters in that arc in the Shangri-La Egg, that we don't have confirmed actors for those two.
Yeah, Haruko and her father Sunny, we don't know exactly who's playing them. Like, pretty sure Haruko is Lucy Freeman, but not, like, 100% sure, so...
Like, that's a non-confirmed confirmation, but I figured those are interesting characters to talk about, especially the Haruko stuff, my god.
Yep,
The downside of covering this show's dub is that it's a very episodic series with a recurring through line through it. So there are a lot of one-off characters that we could easily talk about who have, like, very memorable episodes. Like, we're not going to talk about one of the tactic team's, like, younger siblings or family members, for example.
Nor are we talking about the Kinako gang, the extremely important
the mushroom
Kinako gang that comes back again and literally bullies children and also maybe commits hate crimes. Maybe hate crimes. Like, I was being cutesy, but I'm like, I think that Eggplant might actually be committing hate crimes.
They're not a shiitake group, they're a shit-aki suit.
Shut the shut.
Andrew, you know what? Did you know why you don't get these mushroom puns?
Why don't?
Because you're just not a fun guy. Get it?
Okay,
Jen, it's been nice knowing you. I must leave. I have to walk away. All of this. I'm gonna go fucking live in the woods.
Okay, Noah, you get one joke.
Thank you. That's all I needed. That's my quota for the episode. Now let's talk about some supporting cast.
Yeah, I guess we could probably start with Maki and Yoshimura, because they kind of have the lead to do these episodes, but I like these things for the most part.
So,
yeah,
I'm waiting for the shoe to drop about Yoshimura to have been, like, an extremely important scientist in, like, the development of, like, the Sapotoma technology or something, and then he's just vanished, and he's like, I fucking hate that. You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of, like, those people who develop modern technology that are like, I'm not gonna have a single smart device in my house. I need everything to be dumb and not connected to Wi-Fi, I swear to God. I think that's what Yoshimura's, like, past is gonna be.
Could be. As of this point in the show, is just kind of in the background while the main characters do the more important stuff.
He's just kind of a goofy guy who likes Hawaiian shirts and can repair things and also has, like, a vintage car.
That is a trend in a lot of anime. I kind of thought he was going to be not just the doesn't trust technology but is still a creator of it. I thought he was going to be like the was it the Wiggly Ichan character from Angelic Layers, like the goofy scientist who created the whole thing and has a childlike personality, but is actually secretly a genius.
Yeah,
I'm
he
gonna
seems like he
say,
would be that guy.
I'm gonna say we're still halfway through the show. I'm putting my Digichips on that. But I do like Chris Hackney. So as an aside, this is a Studiopolis dub. Studiopolis has done a bunch of the like, at this point, Studiopolis and Digimon are kind of like one of the go-to studios at this point. Like, as far as like times they didn't do a Digi-dub was basically when Sound Cadence and Marissa Lenti and Discotech got the band back together for like the Digimon movie trilogy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I guess the new Ghost Game dub, which we still can't legally watch in the United States, but that's a story for another day. What I'm saying is, there's a lot of people that play multiple different characters, and I've got to say, I need to give credit where it's due. There are some Studiopolis joints that double and triple cast that I think do not do a good job at hiding or disguising the fact that they are double and triple casting these characters.
Do you have an example?
My go-to is always Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1.
Yeah, the principal and Mekamaru, like, that was really ridiculous.
It's like, plus, I'd say maybe like a couple of, like, maybe like remote recording Crunchyroll era stuff where it's like there's just some like middle of the road light novel stuff that they recorded where it's like, okay, I can tell that these are just characters talking to each other. That's my way of saying their track record is not always the best at that. This is my way of saying there are cast members we are talking about multiple times tonight that I legitimately, if I did not know that some of them were playing the same characters, I legitimately would not have known.
Yeah, Digimon is usually pretty good in that respect. Turns out that when you're doing what is kind of historically sometimes been a goofy kid show and sometimes a little more serious. But when you're doing that kind of show, it turns out you can do a lot of weird character voices.
Which is my way of... I will not discredit Chris Hackney. I will say I can easily tell that's Chris Hackney as Asuka, which is Tomoro's older brother. Though I actually do have a harder time telling that's him as Yoshimura. Because he is doing a silly kid's old man goofy voice. And I do think that's fun.
Yeah, I don't think there's a problem with some of the double and triple casting here because, yeah, they usually differentiated between the very cartoonish sounding Digimon or side characters versus our main cast. Like, the main human characters, no one really has an outlandish, cartoonish voice. So if you have the same actor playing two different sides of the spectrum there, to me, it doesn't really stand out. Like, I know there are characters in here, there are actors in here who are double cast in roles. Some of them for, like, the evolutions of their characters, and I had a hard time telling it was the same actor. So,
oh yeah,
maybe
no, I think every, what is it, Rookie?
Yeah.
Rookie is the default setting, the Gekomon, your Prestimon.
Okay, I think legitimately every actor that is credited to a Rookie Digimon is also their evolution throughout the entire line.
Yeah, but case for the Japanese version too.
Okay, that's what I figured, but I'm like, that is kind of impressive in and of itself.
Yeah, it is. So that deserves some credit. And as far as these side characters go, Yoshimura doesn't really do a whole lot, but just sounds distinct enough from any of the other characters. So it's good to remind us that this is a very full world. Like, this is not just a rogue team of teenagers who are fighting monsters. Like, this isn't Deno Coil, for example. Like, there are actual organizations and people on the outskirts of things. So yeah, this group that you pick for supporting cast is a good way to emphasize the bigness of the world. And I can't think of a miscast in here. The only thing that would be worth noting is if you don't like the way that the Digimon are directed to act with the, again, very cartoonish voice, it's how it was in the Japanese, it's how it's historically been for Digimon. So that's just, I think, something that you'll have to get over if you're not a fan of that.
Okay, I'm going to speak as the effective Digimon new fan, basically first Digimon TV series watcher. The main character is a fucking gecko, Like, he basically looks like a Nintendo 64 mascot platformer. If I'm gonna get mad about him sounding a little bit like a goofy gecko, like a goofy little silly 90s mascot platformer character, what the fuck am I doing here? What the fuck am I doing here? If I want my hardcore edgy shit, I have so many choices to choose from. How did I wind up on Digimon?
I don't know. Maybe you expected him to be voiced by, like, Christopher Walken or something, you know, very sophisticated theatrical Shakespearean actor.
I believe I've never even seen a Digimon show, and I guarantee you somebody in the 90s or 2000s probably did a Christopher Walken accent for an episode.
Yeah, and I was just reminded of a story from, a story I heard a little while back when Steve Bloom was describing how, like, one day he was walking into a store, he, like, saw a kid, like, looking at a doll of looking at it like a Gilmon doll or something. Mm-hmm. So he, like, decided to do the Gilmon voice for the kid, and it scared him a little bit.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
That is the first thing for believability, is that Steve Bloom, who's, you know, known for, like, lower, badass voice, also does the goofy Stitch voice like this on Digimon Tamers.
Oh, like, Steve Bloom's just an icon for a reason.
That he
Anyways, I also want to give a shout out to, this is not going to be the last time I say this sentence tonight, so I just need to shout out and say, congratulations to one Lily Emil Lambers. Holy shit, they sounded really hot.
Yeah.
I don't really
legitimately every time I heard her talking, every time I heard them talking as Maki, I'm like, oh, this is a sexy, mysterious lady.
We need one in every show.
And fucking hell, this is the crazy part. I know it seems rude to, like, compare voices and stuff, and I'm not gonna do this too much. She sounded a lot like Lucy Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
I can hear that a little bit, sure.
Which is, like, a good compliment, because that was equally an impressive performance when I watched that dub several years ago, and also as a character who sounds hot as hell. So, shout out to, Lily Lambers as Maki, sounding like this sultry but helpful, also very going incognito, but also recognizing, oh, this capitalist pig needs to go down, he's a creep. And I'm like, yeah, girl, he is a creep.
That was satisfying. That was so satisfying. Is, oh, we're just Ocean's 11ing this. Like, no, we're going in. We're taking out the whole Epstein Island. Why can't we have that in the real world?
Okay. Wow. I was gonna build up to that shit. Okay, we're just going for it. All right.
We put a spoiler tag on the beginning of the episode for a reason.
Anyways, shout out to Lily Lammers. This is not the last time I'm going to say it. They sounded really hot in this performance. Which is very funny to immediately be talking about my boy, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Pandamon!
Oh yeah, Pandamon's great.
I love Pandamon. He's just... I'm kind of like... As I was watching more of the show, I'm realizing, man, I miss my boy, Pandamon.
It is a shame he doesn't come back for more episodes.
Fuck it. He's got a little mini Yakuza side arc. I don't care, but he's just a good boy. He's just a good boy. I love him.
Yeah, Mick is good in that.
Yeah, just a good boy. Trying his best to, be respectful, keep the family together, listen to Dad.
I love the whole, like, look, you are not my child, but you are my boy. You are my son, and it's like, that's how you know this is a Yakuza story, because it's like, you are not... Oh god, this is just gonna turn into a Nakama conversation. Fuck. Okay. It's like, it is not a tie, it is bonded by blood. It is stronger than ties of real family. It is something more... God, it really... I hear it. I want to commit my own seppuku.
Okay, Andrew. To be fair to you, that's not the reference I thought you were going to make. I thought you were just going to default to the old Guardian of the Galaxy's bit.
You know what? I stopped myself from doing it because I was thinking he is indeed not he is not the stepdad. He is the dad that stepped up. And now I just need to hear Keith Silverstein say, "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all."
Like you know that he is powerful in his convictions when the person who he convinces to, be selfless in their actions to defend the weak is Geckomon, of all characters. The goofy sidekick character who has been nothing but eating all of the food this whole show.
And just going, you know.
Anyway, I just want to commend the writers for, and this is a reference that will go over Andrew's head, but Jet and everyone else will get it. I am glad they did not turn to Pandamon into a Leomon.
Okay, even I know the joke that a Leomon does not survive any series he is in. I know that.
That's what I thought was gonna happen in that final fight. We all thought it. We all thought he was going to that big Toys R Us in the sky.
Yeah, I'm just not going to say anything.
Okay.
Would you like to lead the discussion then on any of their characters here?
Let's say, both really like Keith Silverside and Sasatake. Definitely not the first time I've heard Keith Silverside do an old man voice, but it's usually pretty nice when he does it. Yeah. Just very nice, kindly grandpa with a good amount of conviction to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good dad. He literally, for the sake of his family, was literally willing to slice open his stomach and commit seppuku.
For the kids.
For the kids. But it's like, at the very least, I am willing to believe a Japanese child understands what seppuku is in history class. I would assume. I think. I don't know, probably.
I don't know if we should make that assumption. Should we also believe that all Americans, know about, I don't know, the atomic bomb or something? I'm trying to think of, an equivalent for Americans.
Okay!
I can't really think of one.
Let's swerve immediately away from this train of thought and say, I like Sasatake and I like Keith Silverstein. He's good. Yeah. And I like Courtney Shaw Satomi, too.
I thought she was going to be around a lot more.
She does come back in some later episodes. So she's not totally gone from the show, but
mm-hmm.
She also is kind of the reason that they're even able to save Tomoro, because she watches him get kidnapped by the big monkey, which I just want to say, right. Literally before they said his name, I'm looking at the design of the character. I'm like, oh, he's got the big stick, and he's got, the headband on him. What's his name? Sun Wukongmon? And then they're like, oh, that's Gokumon. I'm like, fuck you! No! Come on!
I cannot believe that Toei, of all people, would have made a Dragon Ball reference. It makes no sense.
I was being too subtle. I was being too subtle with my reference. It's like, oh, it's just Gokumon.
Honestly, the names aren't that far off. You look at the character designs, that's a gecko. Let's call it a Geckomon. Or that's a burger. Let's call it a Burgermon. What does that one do? It burps. What should we call it?
Burpmon. And also, the little army dinosaur is Commandermon. Yeah, it's like, I know what they're going for. They ain't fooling anybody.
Yeah, no critiques on there.
Yeah, I do like Courtney Shaw here. Definitely a good job kind of playing the fish out of water as far as being the supportive friend goes. I do think the whole the first episode where she accidentally touches Snowbird's arm and then all this weird stuff keeps happening to her was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh god, where do I go with this? Okay, you ever have that moment where it's you start forming the bit, but it's not fully formed yet, and you're like, oh, okay, do I push this as far as I go, or do I hold back?
You do a Michael Scott, basically.
Alright, it's like, you look at Hitomi, it's like, you see, girls, this is why you stay away from boys. You touch them once, and then your insides freeze over.
Yeah, that analogy could have used a few more rewrites.
It could've! It could've! I'm also realizing I didn't go as hard as I wanted to, or as I could've, because those are still, like, kids that are doing their best and doing their thing. I think Hitomi's a good kid.
She is.
To it, this isn't necessarily related to Courtney Shaw specifically, but just something I thought was kind of, like, really interesting. In, like, in one of the episodes where she comes back, specifically at the episode where, like, she tries to convince Summer to come back to school, and we get the whole thing with this kid who's kind of going around kidnapping other students because he's like really jealous of their test scores. I thought this was like really I thought this was really interesting because like we're going to talk quite a bit about social commentary, like cyberpunk themes here, and that's all well and good. But the way you can tell this show is like actually really committed to social commentary is that's the episode where like Toboro, he sees all that. He sees how desperate people could be to like climb up the social ladder to do whatever it takes to get into a good college and all that, and he decides, nah, that's not for me.
I can't let one bad mistake ruin my life.
And I'm just thinking like, wow. A kids show in Japan actually being like, hey, kids, you don't have to obsess over grades. Like, wow.
Yeah.
They're actually committing to social commentary here.
Also, it's really kind of fascinating that it's like the whole society that wants everybody to have kids and stuff. That they give birth to something and suddenly their whole life is turned upside down.
This show is deep, man.
Okay, look, I'm being cheeky in like the college kid getting high analysis way, but also like I'm kind of cooking.
Before we move on, this is something I forgot to do, but I kind of wanted to do a bit here, just for the sake of science and because I thought it would be funny. And since we are talking about Digimon used to be a Saban joint, so we used to have all the wacky dumb names and nicknames and all that. I thought it would be fun to just kind of think of what would the nicknames be if this were like somehow still a Saban joint.
Oh.
I was trying to think.
Oh.
He told me that's way too Japanese.
Yeah. That'd be like
let's say, I don't know, maybe Henrietta or something.
It's got to be three syllables.
I was gonna say Hillary.
Yeah.
Wow, we went to the same place. That's fucking scary.
Listen, there is only one time I've ever heard the word Henrietta in something, and it was in a British thing, so that would not be in this. Yeah, it's got to be Go ahead.
I'm gonna say Hillary works for me.
Now, Maki, that would just be Mickey. Well, it's a girl, so I don't know about that.
I was gonna say Mika is also, like, kind of there.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yoshimura, let's call him Yankee Doodle. Who cares? Fuck it.
I mean, in some cases, they don't even try to go for, like, a name that's close to the first name. Like what was Izzy's real name?
Koshiro Izumi, so no, that one was actually pretty close.
The last name was, yeah, but his first name was, like, what was it, like, it wasn't Satoshi. That's Ash.
The first name was Koshiro.
Koshiro, thank you.
Alright. But, yeah, so I do like this, and I also did want to give a shout-out to the whole, Haruko and Sunny performances, because we don't have actors for them. Haruko's, fucking tortured soul of getting possessed by Alucard from Hellsing really goes places.
Shadowmon.
That was a pretty wild pair of episodes.
I legitimately thought she was going to mind crush her dad to where he killed himself. He kind of imagined himself dying.
Yeah. In a more grown-up version of this, in a non-TV at 9 a.m. Time slot, that probably would have been the ending.
And, the girl basically gets possessed by her Digimon because she's so sad, and she's like, just erase all the pain. And the sad, shape... I do like I do like... Here's what I gotta ask. I am assuming that in prior stories of Digimon, the Digimon is not literally a manifestation of the other person's soul, like a persona, right?
So whereas
not directly so, but there is usually some sort of connection.
because
Okay.
in this series, they are created as a response to their inner thoughts and souls, yes. But in past seasons, except for Tamers a little bit, the characters they already existed, and they were just waiting for their partners to find them, basically.
Okay, so it's basically, in prior installments, it's like a Pokemon and a Pokemon trainer kind of having their own meet cute and then becoming partners. While in this, your Digimon is quite literally, effectively... God, I look, just let me have this one persona
You're not going to
reference.
escape the...
It's literally the shadow, the true self, that they don't want to accept. And many of these tortured character arcs are these characters that don't want to accept that this is the side of themselves that they deny. And they become the more realized final form of themselves, or a better form of themselves, when they accept the other half as who they really are.
It's honestly much more... I'm going to go dorky here. The creation in this particular show, it feels a lot more like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Because that was a series where the kids would make a character that wasn't perhaps a reflection of who they were themselves, but it was certainly what they needed the most. Like if they needed a friend, or they needed someone strong, or they needed someone to match their energy. That's just what was created.
Yeah, and
Bro, Gekomon is a saint next to Blue Regard Q-Kazoo. Let me fucking say that.
Yeah, and here all I was gonna say was I'm pretty sure Katsura Hashida was seen Digimon before, so Persona was definitely borrowing a little bit from that.
Okay,
I'm gonna take your word for it.
Anyways, I feel like that's a good segue to talk about our next batch of characters.
Sounds good.
Yep. So for our next batch of characters, we have the group of Tactics. They're a bit of a rival cleaner group, specifically a group of cleaners who kind of function like a bit of a paramilitary organization. Definitely very obsessed with keeping things very orderly. All about completing the mission. Just very full-on army guy up in here.
They are the Cobra Commander to our team's G.I. Joe.
They are the cool rival. So at first you're like, they are the cool rival gang, and then you find out, these are the burnout gifted kids and traumatized war soldiers that were basically like adopted by. Okay, we'll go into it. We'll go into it, please.
So for the members of this group, we have Raito Soda, Motojimon, Hotaruko Kanamuma, Shakomon, Granite, Ludomon, Sophie Naito, and Clay Arslan.
That motherfucker.
Raito is a member of Tactics Team 7 who wants to be seen as a genius and kind of has a bit of a chip on his shoulder. And alongside him, we have his partner, Motojimon. Hotaruko is a member of Tactics who works to support her family and doesn't really like relying on other people, and her partner is Shakomon. Granite is a member of Tactics who grew up in a refugee camp that was bombed, and after losing his family, he believes he has something to live for, so, definitely not very subtle what that's alluding to, and his partner is Ludomon. And next up we have Naito, who's the leader of Tactics Team 7, obsessed with being as perfect as possible, and is willing to go to any length to complete his assignments, whether that be punching teenagers or putting out hits on them. So, yeah, this dude just really sucks.
It's really kind of fascinating where it's like I'm literally watching this show because it's like literally like all the kids of the rival team have something going on. Like Raito is literally like the perfect rival that's kind of learning hardship for the first time. Hotariko is the poor girl that's kind of trying to pay for her family to live comfortably. Granite is the traumatized, like, survivor that's basically effectively suicidal. And Naito is effectively that one meme of the fat guy with the knife going, "Leave the multi-billion-dollar company alone!"
And then rounding out the group, Clay Arslan is
God damn this
is
guy.
a member of the Five Stars, who are the top cleaners working for the government. And on the side, he secretly commands tactics, and in addition to, running a few side hustles here and there, human trafficking, illegal fight rings, just our average rich guy in the year of our Lord 2026.
It really is just like like, he's kind of cartoonish, but it's like not really that cartoonish. He's just that's just kind of real villainy at this point.
Wait,
That's
Pretty
just
much.
the state of real villainy at this point. I am a rich guy that uses my money and influence to hide my philanthropy, to basically disguise the fact that I am basically using my power and wealth off of the suffering of others.
Yep, and going into who played these characters. For Raito, we have Ryan Colt Levy. For Monojamon, we have Paul Castro Jr. For Tariko, we have Enaris Quinones. For Shakamon, we have Kieran Buckland. For Granite, we have AJ Beckles. For Littlemon, we have Jonathan Ha. For Naito, we have Craig Lee Thomas. And for Clay, we have Christopher Swindle. Ryan Colt Levy has played such characters as Denji Hayakawa in Chainsaw Man, Watson and Moriarty the Patriot, and Angoromon in Digimon Ghost Game. Monojamon has played such characters. Paul Castro Jr. Paul Castro Jr. has played such characters as Sigma and Fate Strange Fake, Mini Vegeta in Dragon Ball Daima, and Yuhi Odo in Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush. And Aris Quinones has played such characters as Multi Not a Hero in Blade Blade X, Yuki Yoshikawa in Horimiya, and Mirako in My Hero Academia. Kieran Buckland has played such characters as 2B in Nier Automata, the animation, Joan Kujo in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in Stone Ocean, and Kuriyuki Hime in Excel World. AJ Beckles has played such characters as Takamichi Hanagaki in Tokyo Revengers, Okarun in Dandadan, and interestingly enough, Matt Ishida in Digimon Adventure 2020. Jonathan Ha has played such characters as Koji Arakawa and Akane Barashi, Seiya in Wandance, and Tsukasa Akaraji in Medalist. Greg Lee Thomas has played such characters as Anarin in Snowball Earth, Keiichiro Kuragaine in Yaiba Samurai Legend, and Pinebud in Digimon Ghost Game, and lastly, Christopher Swindle has played such characters as Jock Hadma and Baki, Bright in The Orbital Children, and again, funny enough, Tentamon in Digimon Adventure 2020.
It's kind of nice that they grouped the way this group's laid out. You could just kind of pair off everybody with their partners. Raito and Mondramon, Hotariko and Shakamon, Granite and Ludomon, and Clay and his fuckboy that won't take his dick out of his goddamn mouth. Naito, I hate you so much.
Andrew. This is a children's show, apparently.
Okay! This is a children's show, but, like, look, how do I describe it? Clay sucks in a human way where he's, like, easy to... Okay, we're just gonna talk about Clay and Naito first. That's just the way this is going now.
Okay.
Clay is, like... He sucks in a human way, as we are people who will never have that amount of money in our entire lives, in that he is a shitty person, in that there is the power fantasy that you want to take this man down with all this power and all this authority, who's using it to hurt and abuse others and get his way. He is the type of bad bitch you want to see these good shonen anime kids take down and give him some humble pie. And Naito is just the type of motherfucker that's basically just wants Elon Musk's attention on Twitter.
Okay, Andrew. Okay, yeah, in fairness to you, Andrew, you're definitely not the first person to make Tatsuki jokes about these two.
It's just kind of the...
Did you also make them in your reviews?
Not in my reviews, but it is even going around.
Just... So, okay.
It's just the lens through which we see the modern world.
The lens through which we see this modern world is that Naito literally is like, I will, sir, I will gladly use and abuse all of these children so you can make 0.5% billion more dollars on the stock market, sir.
So,
Golly gee willikers, I am such a good soldier. I am such a loyal, humble servant. Now please put your dick in my butt.
there's nowhere to put it. Look at the size. That shirt is stretched way too tight, man. Get some clothes that fit. Just looking at the character design. That's not a bad breakdown of the characters. Thank you for the colorful commentary, Andrew. And it stands out in a big contrast to some of the other human villains that we've had in the Digimon franchise. Like, the first real human villain we had was Okawa, who was like this Tommy Wiseau-looking motherfucker from the second season, 02, who, he was bad as well, and no one really liked him, but he just wanted to go back to the digital world, you know? He just wanted to recapture his lost childhood, so you felt a little bad for him at the end of that series. And then you have, like, the military people played by Steve Bloom from Tamers, who... they're not really bad guys either. They're just trying to figure out what the heck is going on in this world, even if it involves creating a fly swatter that ends up killing Digimon there. That's a whole series that we'll save for a different episode. This character, you're right, absolutely, needs the voice and the slime to convey, this is not just terrible. This is real-world terrible. People like this exist in the real world. They are in charge of the world we exist in. It is kind of cathartic to, as you said, have these plucky shonen antagonists be there to, at the very least, beat him in a battle at the end of the arc that we just finished.
I'll say, for transparency's sake, Clay Arslan, I do not believe, is meant to be any real world nationality for transparency's sake. Because, like, I make a lot of, like, Elon Musk analogies to him. That's clearly not what they are going for, his actual story arc.
Well, not one-to-one.
It's not one-to-one. It's very clear this is somebody who struggled and basically was like, alright, the world is cruel. I must use my power and authority to be cruel unto others to assert my dominance.
Fair.
And that was the lesson he took. But it's also like, he kind of also might have been like, from a Middle Eastern-ish nation, was kind of also where they were going with that too?
It's like, he does mention offhand how, like, he used to be part of a royal family of a country that had all its resources stripped away. So, definitely some real-world commentary thrown in there.
So, it's like a 50-50, like, split on... this is a American-esque business capitalist, and a bit of, like, Saudi Arabian oil baron kind of thrown in for good measure.
I mean, they didn't give him the last name Arslan for no reason.
Point being, either way, like, I think it's clear, like, he's like, there is a bigger he's literally pointing at the WrestleMania sign. He's like, that is the guy I must challenge. That is the guy I must defeat. You're either with me or against me. It's like, okay, that's how I know we're at mid-season, because that bigger guy is a bigger problem. But right now, you are literally, like, sucking the souls out of people and are, like, quite literally running underground fight rings and human trafficking. You gotta go, buddy.
So it's very fitting, then, that we have an actor whose last name is literally Swindle.
I mean, just because
Sorry,
you're
Chris.
correct.
Sorry.
But no, Chris is deliciously, like, slimy in a way where it's like, he's not going too crazy for it, but it's kind of got enough of, like, southern big business oil man that, like, it sounds familiar, but, like, the evilness and, like, the amount of joy and pleasure he takes in this cruelty still comes apparent in the performance, and it is very harrowing and very compelling to watch.
Well, he
I
gets.
was like, oh yeah.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, but I think he does do a pretty good job balancing between, trying to sound very composed, very businessman-like, and like a lot of his interactions. Like, he always wants to sound like he's in control of every situation until he isn't. And then in those last couple of episodes, you kind of see him breaking down a little bit. And I
Yes.
really like the way Christopher handles that Swift. It's really good.
Oh yeah, it's fun to watch him, like, still the same character, but absolutely lose it when he starts rambling basically about, I'm going to use the e-pulse that I have stolen from you. Mwah! You better get one last good look before I absolutely crush your pitiful human soul. I know he doesn't have a British accent, but that's the cadence that it felt like it was going for.
If anything, it's closer. It's less of that and more of like, oh, this is gonna be fucked up, but you know exactly where I'm going for it. He's like, what if a Persona 5 final boss was Doug Dimmadome of the Dimsdale Dimmadome?
We're just making all the cartoon references here. I love it.
I need to make sure that all the RPG anime nerds who don't know all the cartoons we do are like, it's kind of like this, but also Persona.
Yeah,
I'm the translator for them.
Okay, so point reference throughout the rest of this whole discussion. Just tie it all back to Persona. Got it. A game that I have not nor will ever play. Great. Excellent.
Never say never. I have a gun, and it will challenge you to do things you don't want to do.
That is true. God damn it, ROD.
But yeah, Christopher is real good here. Also, Craig Lee Thomas is also really good. Like, definitely not as familiar with him, but I do like what he's doing here. Pretty good job playing the very stoic soldier who's just extremely loyal to a fault and willing to go to any lengths to do it. At least that's forward. Definitely not above punching children. Just real nasty guy.
I think Craig Lee Thomas is fantastic as Naito. Frankly, I was genuinely surprised because before I looked at this, like maybe this is my Irma Kun pilled ass talking, but like he literally sounded like DC Douglas because he sounded very reminiscent to like a militaristic Caligo when I heard the performance.
I can hear that a little bit, yeah.
But, like, Craig Lee Thomas does a good job making this dude sound like an uncaring, unfeeling, unflinching, like, military man who will go to any lengths for his assignment. Like, that's what he's clearly going for on the surface. But also, he's clearly, like... He's clearly got... How do I describe this? So, Raito Soda has, like, the insecurities and, like, perfection complex that a shonen rival has. Mm-hmm. But also, he's, like, 16, 17 at most. Like, he is still legally not allowed to drink. That is, like, a barely developed prefrontal cortex teenage boy with angst and hormones. This is a grown-ass 30-something-year-old man who is like, I will do whatever I have to do so that my billionaire sugar daddy gets his way. Fuck him. Fuck him.
Yeah, I appreciate that the main three kids of Tactics we have empathy for. We may, be against what they're standing for, but we're like, I get where they're coming from, and I feel a little sorry that they're in the world they are. No one who watched this show listened to Craig Lee's performance as Seraphy and said, I feel sorry for that guy.
I'm literally like, this man is gleefully punching children. He's literally like, alright, I'm gonna take this suicidal orphan, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna use you. And like, that's his first thought, it's like, hey, I can make use of this.
Yeah, Digimon's never been known for subtlety, so...
It sure is not, and we're not even talking about the Commander Mon dinosaur, who literally has post-traumatic stress disorder from murder.
If I knew who the doctors were, I actually would have included them here, but alas.
Yeah, okay, so kind of same deal with the Haruka. Yeah, there's a lot of one-off characters that are fun, but we don't have performances for. But this is my way of saying, I really do like Craig Lee Thomas's performance as Naito. He's strict, he's stern. Like, he's great at what the character presents himself, but what he actually is He's basically just a 30-something-year-old muscle-bound meathead who has the same insecurities about perfectionism. And why does my boss keep looking at this Kyo guy? Why doesn't he look at me and my perfectly chiseled ass and muscles that's basically just gaping wide for his, like, $100 bills? I don't have any respect for this character, can you tell?
I don't know. I thought you were kind of drawing fan art of him as we were going through this.
I would rather die. Speaking of which, Greenwich!
Oh! All right, I'm sorry. I have to do this. I'm gonna give your fiance a call. I know you're in the same room.
Oh!
And I'm gonna be like, I'm just gonna ask her to just make one swift kick to the balls. That's all that I'm gonna ask her to do. No words.
Oh my God.
No heads up. Just kick. Walk away. Because you deserve that.
Ludomon, please protect my balls and my swimmers.
Hey, Steph. Yeah. No. Oh, okay. Wait till after recording then, okay? All right, cool. Thanks. All right, bye.
I literally had to look because I did believe he did it for a second. That's crazy.
You should be. Sleep with one eye open.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Child poverty.
Yeah, AJ, Beckles, and Ludomon. Yeah, I really like AJ here. Definitely not used to him playing quieter characters, but I thought he did a really good job here.
It's a great deadpan, isn't it? Like
it's a really good deadpan, yeah.
It's like it gets you laugh at it kind of just to cope with the trauma of what's going on around them. But it's a very good never breaks character while still kind of making light of the terrible situation around them. That is until their best friend dies, which I'm assuming this was an intentional reference where AJ gets to shout out, Stella!
I mean, okay. I don't think that's necessarily what they were going for, per se, but it's clear, like, okay, they're not going for any specific region. That being said, it's fucking crazy to listen to Christina V's voice coming out of the Sapotama being like, this army is breaking the terms of the Geneva Convention by attacking a civilian base instead of active war participants.
Yes, they're breaking.
Like, that's fucking crazy. I was genuinely not expecting that. I'm sure even for Digimon standards, that's crazy.
What are you gonna do when people break the terms of service?
So, yeah.
Definitely. Definitely was not expecting that, but it's also commentary. But to his credit, I think it actually handles that pretty well, and I really like how they handle Granite's character. This is a kid who's like really been through a lot. You can definitely hear that in AJ's performance. And I really like the way his arc is handled, and the way he actually kind of like struggle to make sense of his life now and try to find something new to live for.
I think the thing I like about the members of Tactics 7 is that they are very clearly, like, obviously I joke about that they are the dark rival parallels to the Glowing Dawn. They are literally the dark parallels to Glowing Dawn. Mm-hmm. And I was surprised to find out Granite was the dark reflection of Reina, in that Reina, like, we see a lot of her chippy herself, but it's like, oh no, she was a troubled kid that was basically just walking around, finding for a place to belong, and effectively, like, everybody never gave her a chance to really grow, and basically was just kind of like a listless kid, effectively, until Kyo Sawashiro, and basically was like, you don't deserve this. You deserve to be whatever you want to be.
It makes sense that Granite would be the dark mirror, the dark universe version of that, because one thing they do both have in common is they are very aware and constantly living under the threat of finances. They are the ones who are worried about, how are we going to pay for the thing? How are we going to afford food for this week? And that's something that, again, will either make you be really keen to take on terrible things that you should not be doing, as Granite is doing, to survive joining this group, or just make you very considerate of others because you know how hard everyone else has it, which is more of what Reina's personality is.
All right, so I'm going to take a quick look at something while we're continuing this discussion. But I also want to shout out, we're talking a lot about AJ. Even though he doesn't get a lot to talk, Jonathan Ha as Ludomon, it was like basically like quiet, reserved, basically like his Digimon partner for the entirety of the show, before finally standing up for himself and for his boy Granite, basically being like, I don't want you to get hurt. I don't exist to watch you sacrifice and throw yourself away. Mm-hmm. I am here to defend. I am here not to be the shield of some shitty muscle-bound freak or some creep-ass, like, billionaire who's using and selling children. I am here for you. I do not want you to literally fall off on the knife's edge, because you don't deserve that. You deserve to live, and I want to protect you. And that's when he evolves into his champion form, which I was like, oh! I love how I could kind of eventually read at some point at the show. It's like, oh, I get it. The evolutions are character development arcs.
That's pretty much always the case for Digimon.
That has been
that's a big part. It's a big part of why it works. You come for the monsters, you somehow end up staying for the humans.
Yep.
You know what I realized? It's like, look, I may be like 30 or so, and we may all be like 30-something-year-olds that are just like torn down by like how much the world has gotten us down. But you know what I realized watching the back half of Digimon BEATBREAK?
What's that?
Man, those fucking shonen beats, power of friendship things still fucking hit when they're good. And like a bunch of the ones in this show are hit really good.
Watching some of those Digivolutions at the right moment to come and save the day still makes you feel like a kid watching cartoons on Saturday morning, doesn't it?
Yes. But, like, legit, I do like Granite, the fact that, like, it's also clear that Granite is, like, a little younger than, like, the rest of the group. Like, is that he's, like, he probably is, like, around, like, 13, 14 or so, and he's effectively, like, a child soldier who basically is like, I need a good place to die, because if I kill myself, my childhood friend will be upset with me. And I'm like, oh, God, man. Man, that's crazy. That's crazy they're going for it, and I like the fact that Ludomon's physical transformation becomes of effectively... You know what it is? He physically transforms from being a commander that is being his shield to effectively being a child's teddy bear that becomes his warmth and comfort.
Which, if you've seen Tamers at all, you may recognize that as the Renamon arc of going from the character whose default setting is like attack mode and then evolves eventually into protect mode. It's a very subtle, not so subtle, indication of the change in that their human, Rika's, evolution throughout the show.
Yeah, I love visual and environmental storytelling, but yeah, I really do like Jonathan Ha, and it's also Jonathan Ha I would not have noticed was, like, Ludomon and the other character in this show who, like, we're not talking about him, but he's the guy with Gokumon, and every time I hear him, I'm like, oh, you're a bitch that needs to get his lights punched out stat. So he's doing a great job. But I love A.J. Beckles as Granite. I think his arc is tragic, legitimately surprising to see. Like, I know we talk about this is crazy for a kid's show, where it's like I'm a Steven Universe reviewer. It's like, I can't believe they did this for a kid's show, yada, yada, yada. No, I can't believe they did Granite's arc, even for a Japanese kid's show. That's crazy.
Sometimes stories, kid shows can actually have some pretty interesting political commentary. Like, there's a surprising amount of it in the KKK no Kitaro reboot, just like all over the place.
All right. Yes, AJ and Jonathan are good.
Okay,
Would you
good.
believe me if I told you there's like an episode of that too where they like very specifically talking about the whitewashing of World War II?
Ooh.
Okay, that one is wild, especially considering the nation of origin.
Right? It's like, it's been, how many years? It's been almost 100 years now. I guess we're allowed to make these commentaries.
We're like 80.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's about the same length of time between when the Titanic sank and when they made the movie. It's been long enough.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that you said that. Let's please move on.
Yep, yeah, so going on to our next pair, we've got Tutariko and Shakuman.
This was a fun pair to have because it's it's too relatable. She's way too relatable. The whole like career woman centric mentality pushes her family aside while still simultaneously just focusing on supporting them and having no friends. Poor Hatoroko has never brought a friend home before. I'm so glad that she did. And it's like, this is the closest you've had to friends over, is your sworn enemies. That's great.
Also, the whole thing about don't let the one little mistake ruin and define your whole life metaphor, especially being a career woman.
I'm sure there's no further depth into that, but there's a great performance in this though, because it's a balancing act with acting here. Like Anarias had to be both. She has to convey the disdain with which her character views everyone else as like weaker than her, and yet simultaneously have a little bit of empathy where that when she is told you're supposed to do like a raid on these characters, that she's not going to follow through with it. And she finds that balancing act surprisingly well.
I'm like, at this point, Daenerys Canonias is like, she is one of those names I effectively see, and it's like, I know I'm gonna get a damn good performance out of at this point. And Hotariko absolutely delivers as like, you see like the strict like soldier side while also seeing a little bit of her at-home sweet side. And it's like, oh, okay, she's a little silly, but also her family really wants what's best for her. I really like her parallel arc with Makoto, which is, you want to talk about like the closest thing to like a ship I got in this show. Yeah, I like that opposites attract stuff.
Good for you.
What?
I just don't think that that's what they were going for in this show. Like,
I don't think so either. And like, I'm not. Let's be real. I'm like 30 years old. I'm not expecting the Digimon show to have like hard confirmations about romantic pairs. What child would make that mistake?
Some do, and some people got really mad about some of those.
As they should, damn it. Sora should have ended up with Tai. Matt didn't deserve her. He was a bastard who did nothing right. So what? He can play the harmonica, and he has a rock band. That is not worth Sora. And what's with this whole thing about Sora wanting to be a florist at the end of the show, or whatever she goes into? She's a fashion model or something?
Wow, you sound like a bunch of bitch losers that are still upset about your childhood ships being broken.
It wasn't even my childhood. It was just a show that I watched in my 20s and was still pissed off about.
Damn, that's even more sad.
A whole lot of people have real strong opinions about the Zero to it.
No one should have ended up with anyone. No, you know who Sora should have ended up with? She should have ended up with Mimi. That would have solved all the problems.
I see people in their 30s to 40s still mad about Ash and Misty, and I'm like, guys, who fucking... Bro, pay your bills. Cook a meal.
Go touch some grass.
Getting back to the show, I really like what Iris is bringing here with Rodorigo. Like you guys were saying, real good job balancing between like the serious soldier, career woman, just trying really best to be taken seriously by everyone. Doesn't really like relying on people, and you can definitely feel a lot of that in an artist's performance. And then contrasting that would have been some warmth whenever she's around her family, and some of the guilt she feels for like some of the nastier things she has to do, and I really like the way Iris kind of juggles through all that really well.
Also,
And,
you know, the Digimon environmental storytelling of the rock-hard shell exterior and the very squishy, sincere kind interior.
That's a very on-the-nose character design.
It's a little on the nose, but also this is a show that is meant for like 8 to 12 years olds.
Yep, I don't know. I like your Bucklet and Shakamon. That's very nice, cute little monster boys. And definitely very interesting contrast when, you get the whole visual thing with Digimon Evolution lines being a little weird. So we've got this cute little shell evolving into like a shark. It's
It's a fucking cool shark. It's a cool shark design too. No, see, I thought you were going to talk about, like, we're mentioning double casting, where it's like, we're talking about, like, sweet, kind little Shakomon. It's like, Hatariko, it's okay. I'm here for you. I'm always here for you. And then you hear Kira Buckland as, like, the fucking bitchy goth alt girl who's, like, just trying to kill them, who literally just kind of shows up to be like a foil for them to come together, who literally leaves the story because she's like, ugh, the power of friendship sucks. Ugh, God, you just killed my murder boner. I'm out of here. Like, that's not even an exaggeration. She's like,
no.
Ugh, friendship.
She can't stand it.
Bye.
Yep. Which, I mean, kind of a lame way for that fight to end, but hey, we had to end the episode in the next 2 minutes anyway.
Look, to be fair, there was no real reason for that fight to continue on, because she had already lost her resolve to, like, effectively fall for this shit. So she's like, so the person's like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. Who cares?
That's it. It was kind of nice.
Yeah, Kira Buckland's also good at doing multiple voices.
Yeah, and it was kind of nice to have a fight that, because we'd already had a bunch of, like, punch out, drag out, like, fight until the bad guy loses thing. We hadn't really had one like this where it was just apathy, complete apathy, and let's just go cook some fish.
Look, she's dealing with her boyfriend that may or may not hate her guts, but that's a whole other thing for another time.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, good acting on both Anaris and Kieran for this pairing here, which, yeah, works as a good foil to two characters that we will get to in a little bit. But now we gotta talk about the bitchiest of them all. We gotta talk about Raito.
I like the fact that, like, Raito, like, I do like the fact that, like, it's very clear Tomura Tenma has a lot of hang-ups and trauma going for him that he hasn't quite dealt with. Mm-hmm. And it's very clear that Raito Soda has a lot of very similar traumas. The difference is Tomura Tenma basically spits it out in anger, violent burst, almost like he's kind of like doing a, like, that's why he plays like the drums and stuff. He's like smashing violently, aggressively, because that's how he gets those feelings out. Raito is different in that Raito puts it down like a light bulb. He basically just represses and compartmentalizes to where it's not a problem anymore.
Yeah, it's also a good example of how of how having good supportive people around you can make a difference. Like, Tobro has a lot of anger issues, a lot of acts he's dealing with, but he ends up in good company with Kyo and the others who, do a pretty good job of showing him there's another way, helping him to, figure himself out, figure out what he wants to do. Raito, on the other hand, he falls in with Naito, who's very controlling, only wants things one way, and it's not surprising Raito turned out the way he did.
Yeah, it's very clear that, like basically Naito is literally old man Raito. Oh my god, Naito, fucking. It's literally like, okay, Raito, if you do not fix yourself, you are going to become this 35-year-old muscle-bound billionaire simp. You do not want that! Child, you do not want that. And he realizes, I don't want that. I have a cool little dinosaur who is my friend.
And what a friend indeed. Like, that is a...
Madrumon's the real one!
Ride
Madrumon's
or die.
the real one! I love Madramon. He's such a good boy. Like, I was like, oh my god, Raito, you're such a piece of shit. Your boy is so good for you. It's like, that dinosaur is your boy. He loves you. Be nicer to him. Which I kind of like how it's reflected at, like, the mid-season finale, where it's like, hey, Geckomon's your boy. Be nicer. Listen to your boy.
Oh, we're going to get into that, because that's a topic that comes up in a couple of different Digimon seasons, and it usually comes for the exact same reason. The lost conviction, forgot who you are, and starts hurting your friends thing. Speaking of which, kudos to the show for throwing in a battle between Monodramon and a fan favorite, a Greymon, of all things. Like, that was fan service right there.
Yeah, they literally just throw this fucking lame-ass scrub where it's like, hey, I have Greymon. You're not gonna beat Greymon. Oh shit, he beat Greymon.
I'm telling you, Tai just lost himself after Sora broke up with him, and this is what it leads to.
You stop that. You stop that.
I'm not saying that that dating has to solve all your problems there. I'm just saying that if you don't have a positive outlet for it and a good support structure, Izzy, you should have been looking out for him. That's all I'm saying.
Anyways, you know who's not going to offer you shitty dating advice? Madramon!
Yeah, but I like these two. I really like what Ryan Colt Libby is bringing to the table here at Raito. Just very good job of playing this dude who just has a very clear chip on his shoulder. And just pretty much all instances. Really good job of getting the X across. Also pretty good at, getting across a lot of the really high false sense of confidence. Just like he does a really good job of making this kid sound so smug that you really hate him at first.
Oh, yeah.
And then you kind of see more of his circumstances, what he do it with, and he starts to be like, okay, this kid sucks, but you really see he's a product of the environment he grew up in, and hey, he gets to grow up, he gets to gradually break out of that environment, and that's good for him.
It's basically like watching the entire rival cycle is basically you have the guy who thinks he's like who has the biggest dick in the room, who thinks he's the coolest guy. Nobody can stop him. I'm the best. I'm better than you. Then he sees a little bit of that facade crumble when he kind of starts seeing, oh shit, this guy I'm talking above, he can reach me. Oh shit, what do I do with that? And then he doesn't take it so well when he fucks up and suddenly he falls to his worst level, that he's like, I don't care anymore. All I care about is beating you. Nothing else matters. I don't care.
But enough talking about Bakugo and Deku. What about this show?
Oh my god. Look, it's very shonen, but legit, I adore Ryan Colt Levy basically encapsulating the entire rival to redemption shonen boy cycle. Because he's got the confidence, the bravado, he's got the anger, the frustration, the apathy, and the bounce back, the being saved from falling into the pit. And also, shout out to Madramon, not only for being the goodest little boy, but also for basically flipping his shit when he trans into effectively the dark energy version of Ostromon. And shout out to Paul Castro for doing what I can only imagine were some unbelievably blood-curdling screams
Literal
for that fucking Coliseum fight. My god. Incredible shonen shit that I hope you were taking care of your throat that day.
Hey, he did go through Screaming Boot Camp and Dragon Ball, so I imagine that helped.
He's saying he's got experience.
Oh yeah, no, but for legit, I adore Raito's encapsulation of this shitty rival that becomes a decent guy once he gets out of this shitty cycle, and Madramon's growth into basically Raito learning to listen to his dinosaur.
Yeah, Ryan's balance of the two sides of the, at first thinks he's on the top of the mountain, coolness, or smugness, actually. Coolness isn't the right word. Smugness is the word he's got. And then his completely broken self near the end of the show. Yeah, that's commendable acting chops. To the point that I really hope that some troubled high schoolers watching this will be like, oh, that could happen to me if I stay, like, so self-centered and trying to be better than everybody else. I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want to end up in the Gladiator Coliseum. I better get my shit together.
Babe, very important life lesson.
It is, and it's unfortunate that Raito had to learn it the hard way. Almost
And now
freezing
he
to
gets
death.
Yeah, I'll say this. Obviously, it's not death, but, like, Cold Heart's a pretty bad child-friendly state of near death.
I'd rather be in the Shadow Realm, honestly.
Fair.
So yeah, tactics. Great dark. Let's see. If the good guys are glowing dawn, then really this should be what is it? What's the opposite of a dark midnight or dark dusk? That's what they should be called.
So basically, the arcs are learning to trust your partner. You are not as hot shit as you think you are. To learn to rely on your friends, and don't kill yourself.
Friendship is magic.
Yep, and before we close out this section, just going down the blitz real quick. I feel like as far as the imaginary sub-odd names would go, I feel like Clay and Granite would probably keep their names. Those sound decent enough for Americans.
Those do sound pretty American. I would agree with that.
Naito, I don't know, let's say Nick.
Okay, God, he would be a fucking Nick. Hotaruko is... I can't use Hillary again. I need to... I'll go with Helena. Let's go with Helena.
Hotaruko. That's a four-syllable name. That might actually be a Henrietta, because that is a four-syllable name. I'm trying to match the syllables to the name.
This might be clouding my judgment a little. Raito literally does look like a Ryan. Just saying.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Oh, also, before we move on, I completely forgot to mention... yeah, so Clay and the 5 stars are literally the 7 warlords of the government from One Piece. Literally, Clay is literally from a sandy desert and effectively thinks he's untouchable because he's one of the 5, he's one of the 5 stars before they basically start doing some investigation behind the scenes, start getting a case together, and it's like, oh, we gotta take this guy down.
Yes, I agree. Yes, that is absolutely true.
What I am saying is Clay might have more in common with Crocodile than you might think. That's all I'm saying. The final battle literally takes place in the sand desert. Just saying! Just saying!
Yes. That is a perfect comparison. I have not seen that much of One Piece.
I mean, hey, the live-action version is close enough to that.
No. I mean, if I'm going to dive into that franchise, I'm going to do episode a day until it's finally done.
I mean, the live-action version is there specifically for that reason, and hey,
yeah,
again, so
you're right. I know you're right. It's just that finite amount of days to live, finite amount of episodes to watch. There's a lot of Russian cartoons I still have to watch, man.
Alright, and with that, I guess good to move on to our next section. So it's time to finally start talking about some of the members of the Glowing Dawn.
Oh,
so
right.
We've got Kyo Sawashiro, his partner Krugermon, Reina Sakura, and her partner Prussimon, and Makoto Kuroji, and his partner Chirpmon. Kyo is the leader of the Glowing Dawn, who views his teammates as family, and is a former member of the 5 Stars. Reina is the second in command of the Glowing Dawn, and mostly that's concerned with keeping everyone from going broke. And then Makoto is kind of the group strategist and used to be the heir to a powerful business group before he was exiled for giving birth to a Digimon.
He will be our...
Yeah, the one mistake to finding your whole life thing is a unintentionally recurring theme that I'm noticing a lot of. And that's even without going into all the cracked egg analogies, just saying.
Yep, so I'm gonna get to who plays these characters. For Kel, we have Jalen Askins. For Cougar Bob, we have Corey Yee. For Reyna, we have Christina Valenzuela. For Percy Bob, we have Willie Lammers again. For Makoto, we have Rita Larson. And for Chip Bob, we have Courtney Chung. And Jalen Askins is actually this is his first big anime role. Only the role I could find for him on A&N were Nomos and Finis in Octopath Traveler Zero. So yeah, big anime debut.
Damn, fucking good on you, Jalen.
Corey has played such characters as Silver Peg in One Punch Man Season 3, the Beholder in To Your Eternity, and Hermes in Record of Ragnarok. Christine Valenzuela has played such characters as Homer and Kemi in Poem Maggie Minoka Magica, Sailor Mars and Sailor Moon, and Darkness in Konosuba. Lily Lammers has done all the stuff I mentioned before. Brina Larson has played such characters as Yoma Singh in Tower of God, Bridget Graham in Secrets of the Silent Witch, and Waka Izumi in City Animation. And Courtney Shop, again, has done all the things I mentioned before. So, yeah, I guess we could probably start with Makoto and Sherman.
So, if I had to say who I think is, like, genuinely the cutest Digimon performance in the show, or, like, genuinely the cutest little Digimon in the show, I think it's Kiritmon.
It is very adorable. Just,
Because, look, Pristymon is, like, she's cute, but, like, she's cute in the way that, like, you kind of expect her to be, like, a cute little mascot. And it's not even about Pristymon, it's about Wolvermon. We'll get to Wolvermon. And Cougarmon's kind of got the same deal in that he's just a big lynx, and Murasamemon is just a big furry man with a cool sword. Kiramon is just a sweet baby boy.
It's very adorable watching Makoto just carry him around like a plushie from place to place.
He can fly! He just likes being held!
That's how you know they're the good guys, because the tactics team never do that. They don't carry around their characters like they're plushies. These guys do. Or let them ride on their shoulder.
God, so, like, I think Makoto might actually be, like, my favorite member of the Glowing Dawn specifically. I do think his arc is actually really interesting. Especially because I do enjoy the combination of, like, effectively challenging the status quo of his privileged lifestyle and choosing instead to forego it for the sake of helping others and for the sake of, like, being there for his boy Kiritmon. Because he recognizes... he doesn't reject him. He's like, you are everything I know I am. I have my flaws. I have my weaknesses. I know I'm afraid of pushing you too hard because I'm afraid of my own limitations too.
There is a strength in being able to say that, no, this is what I want, which is to step away from the privileged, fancy, golden, egg-shaped city and actually live a life for others. Like, there is a lot of strength in that.
I also do think it's kind of neat to realize that, like, the first Digi-evolution of the show, 10 episodes in, is Makoto and Kiritmon's, like, arc kind of, like, coming to, like, a close. And then he becomes Night Kiritmon, which it's apparently Night, but when I first heard it, I thought it was Knife Kiritmon. I'm like, aw, it's the baby. But now he's got knives!
No, I don't think that's what they were going for. I think that they were going for more of a vampire.
To be fair to Andrew, Knife Kiritmon can absolutely be a real name. I mean, there is a Digimon called Axe Nightmon, so it's not like, it's definitely not outside the realm for this.
Yeah, but Axe Knight is not this cute, you know? Like, there are some ugly Digimon out there. They're allowed to be. And there are the adorable ones that will absolutely have a plushie of them at the next Comic-Con that you go to.
But yeah, Kiritmon is adorable, and Night Kiritmon is just, he's just Batman meets, Zero from Code Geass.
And he was gonna say, I mean, I know okay, I mean, I don't know what to have the context for this. Like, but Andrew, you watched like 5 episodes of that show with me once upon a time. He looks like if you remember Excel World, he looks like Howard's avatar from that.
Oh,
Yep.
he kind of does. Wow. Okay, yeah, no, I see it. I
Not
see it.
kinda. It's like the very template they were going for. Like there are archetypes in anime all over the place, and as soon as I saw the characters on, I'm like, I've seen this character before, and he was flying around, and he had swords, and he was strategizing how to take down the Titans.
Anyways, like, I know I was talking about, like, I adore Kiritmon as my sweet baby boy. So much of that is also just Courtney Shaw's just absolutely darling, endearing performance. I don't know how to describe it. It's like...
Oh, it's sweet and soft and yet still comforting.
It sounds like what I imagine, like, a voice coming out of a talking puppy in, like, a Disney Renaissance animated feature film sounds like. That's what, like, it makes me think of. Like, this is just, like, it's like a spunky little puppy boy in, like, the 60s, 70s era animated Disney.
This sounds nothing like Billy Joel.
Shut the fuck. I'm going for the
All
101 Dalmatians, you dick.
Oh, okay. Well, you gotta be more specific. Okay, they've made more than one dog movie at that goddamn company.
Yeah, I get it. You hate Disney. You're not special.
No, and I'm glad I'm not anymore. I don't hate them, but I have a lot to criticize for them. That's, again, a topic for a way another time. I do see the comparison that you're saying there, and that's an amazing performance on Courtney's side, considering that it is still the same actress playing the evolved versions, isn't it?
Oh, it is still Courtney Shaw playing Knight Kiramon too, because it does sound like it's basically going a little more... It's like, instead of going baby, it's like going... This is a kid... It sounds like effectively what a teenager in high school would sound like, is what I think it's going from.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I can definitely hear... Yeah, it does sound a little bit like Caramon going through puberty.
Mm-hmm. Which I do think is effective. And also, yeah, like, I think legitimately, like, Courtney Shaw's endearing performance as this precious little baby bat boy, like, just stole my heart. I also really do think Brenna Larson's Makoto Kuonji is equally impressive, because I heard her recently in stuff like Cindy the Animation, and it's like, this is a very different performance, and, like, a very convincing, like, young boy voice that's, like, getting the job done. A kid who sounds like he's gone through his own troubles and hardships, but also is afraid of going too hard. Excuse me. But also is afraid of going too hard and learning to rely on others, which puts him at odds with Hotaraka, where it's like, I never want to rely on anybody, but there is strength, there is as much strength as there is to admit you need help, and that's kind of like what Makoto's arc for Hotaraka effectively is, and why they parallel one another.
It would be very easy to have Makoto's character be almost too condescending, like to have the way that he tries to get people to change their ways or be more accepting to the plights of others as maybe a little annoying. But Brena's performance of that, which is a very sincere delivery, like one that you absolutely could use at any time in your life, really helps carry the character across and makes it even more heartbreaking when Makoto has to get tougher at points. Like, Digimon has to evolve to do fights eventually, even though they're more like reconnaissance and strategizing type. When they do get to fight, though, you better watch out, because that's a vicious battle mode.
I also do like the fact that it's clear that Kiramon has an offensive ability, as we discovered when Shademon effectively kidnaps him. And it's like, oh, he doesn't like to do that because that's a strain not only on his own body, but on Kiramon's as well. And as it's clear throughout the show, there are consequences to exerting your body because those exertions on your body and your e-pulse. God, we're almost 2 hours in. I think this is the first time we've actually brought up e-pulse as a concept. In that, like, e-pulse, if you push your own abilities too far, your Digimon suffers for it, as you see clearly in, like, the arcs with Raito and Mandramon, and as we especially see, as we'll get to talking about Tomoro and Gekomon.
Yeah, which those are the schematics that were kind of set up in. I mean, they were touched on a bit in Adventure in 02, but they really came into the fold in Tamers, where it's like damage and hurt to your Digimon like physically affects you. Like you can feel the effects of it, of them fighting on your own body. So I'm glad that they made that an actual part of all of the characters in this. I don't know if that was something that carried over into some of the other more modern series, because I haven't seen Cross Wars, I haven't seen Ghost Game, but it definitely helped make this feel like a unique entry in the franchise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a pretty neat streak here, and I really like these two. Like we were saying, Courtney Shaw's Carrotmon just sounds really cute and adorable. This does a really good job of sounding very childlike and inquisitive about everything. Just really delightful to listen to, and it sounds really well with Makoto, who's just a really nice kid, who is doing his best to be accommodating and nice to everyone. Really wants to kind of be empathetic and isn't afraid to rely on people, which, like we were saying, does make it for a pretty interesting contrast with Otariko, who doesn't really like relying on others, and I really like a lot of interactions between those two. It's a really interesting dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, effectively, he rejected his bourgeoisie lifestyle to learn what it is to be a person and to have actual family and connections and people that are in your life. Which, you know what I realized? It's time to talk about family. Family.
Family.
Family.
Family.
Family.
Family.
Family. Family.
It's
family.
love with the family.
Family. Family. Thank you, sweetie.
As days go by, we're gonna fill our house with happiness. Oh, sorry.
I love how we're doing this conversation, and we actually could be talking about one or two different characters.
So yes, they do not shy away from the theme of found family when it comes to the discussions about the Glowing Dawn and their bond.
No, and that's, again, kind of something that the whole Digimon franchise is always built around. Every team is always made up of found family who usually make each other stronger through trauma, but still supports one another. So, yeah, that's not really even out of line for that. They just decided to stop with the subtlety and be like, you know, we're just going to make that the tagline of this show.
Oh, yeah, no, like shit, going into it, like, Reina effectively is basically what happens when you have, like, the world has beaten down on you, everybody has rejected you, but when somebody has accepted you and opened their arms to you, effectively, Reina Sakuya is the feral cat that became a domesticated house cat.
Sure. I think we're starting to stretch the analogies here a little bit.
Okay,
no,
look.
I mean, I get what Andrew's trying to do, fit with a partner.
Like somebody who survived on the street, basically like by themselves before learning. Effectively learning, you don't have to be on your own. You are not alone. You have people beside you that make life worth living. Mm-hmm. Because if she was still on the streets, orphaned and alone, she very easily could have gone on like a self-destructive, nigh suicidal route the same way Granite does. That's probably why she is directly paralleled with Granite, because she could have easily been this kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why I find like Christina V's like got this very sincere big sister voice that's heartwarming, sassy, but like very sincere and warm all at the same time.
Yeah, it's compelling that despite finding a better living situation than what she originally came from, she didn't lose that edge to her. And Christina definitely gives Reina that toughness that is, we're still living kind of on our own. We don't really have the financial backing that some of the other cleaners do. Like, we stick
She's
with our
not an
convictions.
idiot. She's not naive. She recognizes they're broken poor, and you got to pull in your weight to do what you got to do. You don't get a free meal around here. Like, it's love and hard knocks.
Unless you get a free meal if you save the children of a restaurant owner. Then you get to have all the leftovers.
So, as an aside, in talking... What? Oh, sorry. I had my own little prissy cat.
You mentioned the wild cat that became domesticated, and I was like, oh, are you talking about me, Dad?
You know what?
Is it time for my cameo?
God, he was a stray for like a year and a half before we found him. So, yes, that I can speak from experience on that. So, yes. Am I comparing Reina to my cat? Maybe a little. Maybe a little.
And this is our plug for the podcast, is saying, go out and adopt an animal this month. That's right. If you feel an emptiness in your soul, just know there are lovable cats and dogs out there that need owners. Please go out and do your patriotic duty.
Okay, wait, I was doing a bit, but I could actually kind of headcanon Ash's voice as, like, Christina V's Killua voice. Oh no, I hear it. Oh no. Anyways.
Jet, why don't you take the micro on this? Like, tell us why Christina and Lily work well together.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of character Christina's really good at. Really good. Does a really good job of playing the sassy big sister. She's just doing her best to kind of keep the team together, keep everyone in line, and Christina does a pretty good job of getting that energy across. She's pretty funny in a lot of her interactions with the other characters. Usually just trying her best to make sure they all don't go broke, and that whole thing is usually pretty funny. And then contrasted pretty well with a lot of her story and a lot of her story about found family and having found a place that she belongs in, and then how that contrasts with Grant and how she tries to convince him that he also has a place to belong. He has his Digimon with him and he's not alone, and I think that whole parallel was done pretty well. Mm-hmm. And I really like how that dynamic works. And then Lily's Digimon, a pretty nice little cutesy mascot voice.
She's so cute and sweet and petite, but fuck that. Who gives a shit, Wolvermon though?
No. Hold on. We'll get there in a second. I do have say that Prisimon's sounds like putting on a little bit of a falsetto. Like Lily's like pushing her voice a little higher than natural voice. That stands out. It's still within the scope of what I would expect from a Digimon character because the voices are meant to be, again, a little bit cartoonish. It's the one part of the performance that I would be like, it just took me a little longer to get with than some of the other voices. Now you may talk about the Masked Wolver one.
But fair enough. But anyways, so remember what I was saying, how like this won't be the last time I talk about Lily Lammers and their performances sounding really hot?
Not beating the accusations? Yes, I remember.
Okay, look, motherfucker.
I know.
One thing I know about you Digimon fans. About you Digimon fans is every single one of you has seen one of those big, beefy furries, or those big, slender, sexy, furry creatures. And we're like, oh no, this better not awaken something in me. And guess what? It does. It always does. You're all like, I would never. Just accept it. Just accept that you would get.
Okay, Andrew. Andrew, you don't even have to throw furry accusations at Digimon fans. I mean, like, there are a whole bunch of 10-year-olds who watched Angela Mod and Lady Devimon fight each other and were like, what's this?
I shouldn't be watching this, but I can't look away.
Let's be real. We're talking the whole spectrum here. Let's be real. Wolvemon's probably close to a Renamon, and yes, I know what a Renamon is. Yes, I've been around.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because in looking at the character design, it felt to me like they were very intentionally trying not to go for the I don't want to call it bait, but like the more deviant art style that Renamon unfortunately...
Noah, my counterpoint. Like, you know what they're going to do with T-Evolves.
I know.
We all know. Like as Gooseworks very wisely said, I know what you freaks are going to do with these characters. Like, we know that. But it felt like... Let's be real. Whatever the ultimate form is going to be, I can tell they're either gonna go cool, or they're gonna go sexy, or they're gonna just meet you in the middle. And I'm gonna say sincerely, not as an aside, I think it's hilarious that one of Wolvemon's signature attacks is Tomboy Blaze.
I still don't believe that that's right.
No, it is. I looked at the subtitles.
But, legit, the difference between Pristimon and Wolvemon's voice, I think, is a real testament to, Lily Emil's, voice acting chops. And it's kind of unbelievable.
It is.
They are the same actor and performance. And, legit, I think that's the thing that's going to make me say, Lily Emil Lammers? Yeah, welcome to Dub Talk. Holy shit. Not only are you, so cool, not only are you so cute, woo, Wolvermon. What do you prefer, fried or extra crispy? I'm
just editor.
Oh, ma'am.
Just put the image. This hole was made for me. Just put Andrew's head on the picture. Put Digimon evolutions in the hole. That is what we're going for here. This hole was made for Andrew.
Alright.
And probably many other people as well.
But legit, Lily's performance is especially impressive, and I think they deserve probably some of, the major flowers as, potentially some of my favorite performances in the whole show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's good to have. It's good that they have the mix of the evolutions of, some are more on the aggressive side, some are more on the acrobatic side. Yeah, Wolvermon is a good addition to the whole group, as is Pristimon's regular form.
Yep, and then speaking of strong first impressions, Jalen as Kyo. Yeah, this is a really, really good debut anime performance. I was really impressed with him.
I was genuinely surprised, considering how, big of a deal Kyo is. Where Kyo is, effectively, he is effectively, an X... He's, an X-Elite 4, he's an X-7 Warlords, he basically was as big of a deal as you get, and everybody's why you walked away from true strength and power so you can play pretend with your family, and it's oh no, now he's actually even more dangerous, because if you fuck with his family, he's gonna fuck you up.
It took me a little while to get into Jalen's performance, not because of any quality things, but because the revelation of his backstory took a little while in the show. We very quickly get Reina, Makoto, and Tomoro's personality. They're very apparent. We don't quite know what Kyo's is, then he shows up, then we see him interacting with the other elite members, and we find out that, he's not just the silent commander in the back of it all, like you said. He could legitimately be more powerful than any of the members we've seen before. And when I saw that, I don't know how much they give the actors, heads up about what is coming up in the story, prepare for this because this is going to be a twist coming up here. But whatever it was, I think Jalen hit that very good balance between being cool and confident as the leader, but still hiding, dealing with the reasons why he had to leave in the first place. He's very clearly still trying to exist in this world of being a Digimon cleaner, but doing things in a very different way. Their whole mantra of, we will not delete Digimon, which they stick to throughout the whole show, is pretty commendable. So, yeah, very good on Jalen. And to tell Jet what I think the name would be, they would totally call him Kyle in the dub.
Oh wow, that is exactly what I was going for.
I hate how we're just like fucking. We're on to all of each other's sticks at this point.
Yeah, I forgot. Rita,
Michael and Rachel.
Nice to know we can all be in sync sometimes.
I mean, not all the names, not all of the dub names were like super American. Like, I've never met an American named Sora before.
Okay, some of them were left. Okay, some of them were left today.
Yeah.
Some of them.
But
Anyways.
Yeah.
Also, I really do like his very emotionally available, supportive kitty, Cougarmon. He's just a good boy. He's just a big good boy. And then he's just also like a samurai warrior, Murasamemon.
that is also a fun part of the Digimon lore is sometimes your Digimon is a cute, cuddly plush character who just turns into a humanoid samurai person. That just happens sometimes.
And that's not even the weirdest Digimon evolution one.
I was gonna say, at this point, I don't even think I've seen the weird ones. I've seen, like, everything I've seen as far as Digivolutions in BEATBREAK, I'm like, alright, that makes relative sense.
Like, going from a gecko to an armadillo is, it's like, I could buy that, right?
I'm gonna be real, from what I've been told, it's like, okay, a rabbit just became a weapon of mass destruction. So this is kind of par for the course or normal.
I mean, so not as funny as, going from puppy to cat to angel and then dragon.
Because that's how evolution works. That's how Darwin envisioned it.
God got drunk one night and he's like, yo, you guys want to see something funny?
Terriermon is also a very weird one, in my opinion.
Alright. But yeah, so, legit, Jalen's, as a first-time showing, gets to play what is a very, like, effectively the character who's had his backstory and is basically, like, practicing Zen in his life. He's practicing, like, gratitude, being there for his family, basically watching his team and being like, yeah, I'm gonna take care of all these baby Digimon because because redemption, anybody can be redeemed. They're like, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. He's an idealist. He's got conviction, but he's also got the strength to back his ideals, which is like what makes him like actually a genuine threat to everybody else in the show.
Yeah, and that it's a necessary balance. Like he is unlike any other four members of the group, so that they all kind of balance each other out with his personality.
Yeah, just a very good big brother. Good job looking out for everyone, and you can really feel that a lot of it with performances. And there's just a really nice amount of warmth to this character that comes across really well. And then that's contrasted pretty well with the moment where he has to be serious and kind of step up to play protector, and I think he does pretty well in those moments too. And you can definitely tell that there's like a bit of an edge to him that he's hiding. I thought that especially came across pretty well in the like 5 seconds of his backstory we got where it's when he was like in his younger days. And while we didn't get like too much of that, I do appreciate that Taylor did a pretty good job of giving him a little bit more ranks there, and I thought that was pretty good contrast.
Although I don't think, so far in the episodes that we've seen, which again is up through episode 24, we've never seen him lose his cool, I don't think.
He's got it close. Close.
Yeah, so I think the closest we saw was like probably in like the episodes with Haruko, where like he puts out her dad. Definitely got the anger across there pretty well.
I was gonna say, you remember, it's like, he literally is like, you are a fucking deadbeat dad, I have no sympathy for you, I'm gonna deck you in the fucking face.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the delivery of, like, it's not even, like, I'm mad, it's more, well, it is mad, but he's not growling angry about it, it's more like, I see nothing but
I
despair.
see nothing to... The man whose thing is anybody can redeem is I literally see no good in you. Die.
Yeah, no, you're right. That is probably the widest range that we got away from his default setting of a voice, and it's still very noticeably the same character. There's a lot of range in this show. And one last thing, I'm sorry, just to tack on to with Reina's portrayal is there's been a bad trend in at least some of the earlier Digimon series. I don't know if they've done better in more recent ones. Is that they usually tend to have the female characters be voiced kind of in a bitchy way. Like they're supposed to be like less cool and more annoying. And I'm glad that Christina was not directed to do that in this one. Like, it could have been, had this been directed back in the 90s or the early 2000s, I could have seen them, like, give her the Rika voice that they did in Tamers, and that wouldn't have fit.
I thought Rika was actually a pretty good example of breaking away from that. I was thinking more like Mimi, maybe.
Well, Rika was more so in, like, the first arc. Like, I know she softened up as it went on, but it was, like, at the very beginning of Tamers where she's more like, Digimon are nothing more than data. What are you gonna do, cry about it? Like, that kind of delivery.
Yeah, I can see that, but that is also, like, a very different character.
It is.
Probably a lot closer to the next character we're going to be talking about.
That is true, yeah. So, I mean, and yeah, props to the Japanese side. I'm glad that Reina gets to be one of the rare Digimon female leads who is not just a support structure to the men, and is also allowed to be have a complex backstory that gets resolution throughout the show.
If anything, her arc is, for the most part, like, effectively been developed. Maybe not 100%, but like
I mean,
she's a lot more put together than you would think or assume from those previous examples.
Yeah, you're right.
We do. Yeah, I mean, we do still need to see more of her backstory. That is probably like the one big complaint I have about her character so far, but otherwise, I really like what they're doing with her.
Yeah, she's not
I
dealing.
think it's fair, but they have enough time to still give her some meat.
Again, on her own, like with her own backstory, completely unrelated to like having to tie in with the other members of the group. Like that's a great thing about this show is everyone's baggage and development kind of comes both as a group but also on their own, so that it's not four people having the exact same arc 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
But the one that we do get to see the most development of, because we start his story right at the beginning of the show, is the next character we need to talk about.
Yep, time to move on to our final 2 characters of the evening. Our main character, Tomura, and his little monster buddy, Genzomon. Tomura is a teenager who lives with his brother Atsuka until they're attacked by a group of Digimon, and he decides to join the Glowing Dawn in order to find a way to save his brother, and then Digimon is Tomura's partner, born with Sapotama, who's just kind of a goofy little guy, little stinker, and definitely goes around causing a lot of trouble, so he and Tomura butt heads quite a bit at the start.
Now tell me, why is Tomura and his brother living all on their own?
Because apparently their parents may or may not have gotten disappeared by the government.
Yeah, that was a crazy... There's a whole lot
Did you have a flashback to... did you have flashbacks to Penguin Drum by any chance when you saw that bit, Jet?
Oh yeah, that did feel a little bit like Penguin Drum.
Because it just, again, addressing the social commentary on, like, one mistake should not define you for the rest of your life. Apparently there's this, like, trend in some Asian countries about, like, if your parents do something wrong... that makes it a lot harder for society to view you as their offspring as redeemable. And that feels like what was kind of being addressed in both this show and the siblings in Penguin Drum.
That's everything in Penguin Drum. But going back to this show, playing our leads, we have Zeta Robinson and Risa May. Zeta Robinson has played such characters as Takakagami in Kuroko's Basketball, Vanitas in the case of Vanitas, Hawks in My Hero Academia, and again, because it's finding it kind of fitting here, Taichi Kamiya, aka Tai, in Digimon Adventure 2020, and Risa May has placed its characters as Misaki Kuragane and Dandelion, Senajuna Inui in My Dress Up Darling, Shoko Makino Hara in Rascal Does Not Dream of Wonder Girl Senpai, and Beelzebub in Sandland.
So, Jet, I know you are a fan of the actor Zeno Robinson.
Indeed.
I also know you are not a fan of Digimon Adventure 2020, despite being an avid fan of the Digimon franchise.
That might actually be my second most hated show of all time. It's not even necessarily that the show itself is bad. It's just, when you look at when you look at the legacy of the original thing and the fact that basically nothing really happened in that remake, it's just like 65 episodes of just nonstop fights, just every single episode. It's just fight, and there's just no real character stuff or anything. It's just really frustrating.
So I imagine you must have been very happy to see Zeno Robinson book a lead in another Digimon show, and a Digimon show that's, from my understanding, you view quite positively.
Yes, yeah. I mean, again, we'll never know what happened, but part of me really wants to think that, like, they walked out of that final season of Adventure 2020 and went to Zeno, like, and then you got kind of a raw deal having to, basically inherit this legacy character in a show that, like, a lot of people didn't really care for. So, you know what? If there's ever another one of these Digimon things, we'll book you for the lead in that.
And then he got to play what is effectively a boy dealing with a lot of angst and trauma and, like, very uncomfortable emotions and feelings he has not quite processed. He's angry about it, and he doesn't know what to deal with it with.
To be fair, you would be too if you had, like, a e-pulse glitch on your hand that, like, acts out, you have no control over it, and, oh, hey, it created its own living being that now you have to take care of.
Yeah, there's
definitely a lot to deal with one day.
It's a lot to deal with, as well as also losing your brother, as well as also having lost your parents several months earlier.
Yeah, that would mess anybody up.
It's not like that with several years, actually.
It really is. I'm trying to think, like, have we had a lead in a Digimon show who, like, the Goggles character who was this trouble to start with?
I'm gonna say, I don't even watch a lot of Digimon, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't think they usually come this full of trauma and rage to start.
If anything, he's not like the usual Digimon lead. If anything, he's more like the foil to the lead, like your Mats, your Rikas, he's that kind of character.
Yep.
So, wait.
They just made him the lead now.
Let me run this by you. In a normal Digimon show, would Raito be the main character?
No, in a normal Digimon show, Raito would be the main character.
Yeah.
She has more of that energy.
It would be it would be the one who is the team builder, the one who is the designated leader, but the one who needs a strong second in command, which would be Tomoro, would be the troubled bad boy or bad girl who is still, at the end of the day, a capable fighter.
So that's why it's kind of interesting that effectively this is the role of the protagonist in this series.
It is.
Yep.
And it's great that they paired him up with a character who is arguably the most unlike their partner character of any of the Digimon human pairs we've talked about so far.
But is a perfect complement in every other way, too. The whole polar opposites attract and all that principle. Which, Noah, what was it you said when we were starting with the watching and production of this Dub Talk episode? I'm glad someone made Tsuyu Asui into a Digimon for me.
Well, Toei just called me and they asked me, like, hey, we're making this new show. What would you like in it? Like, we're doing market research, and I said, I don't have many notes, but if you could turn Froppy from My Hero Academia into a Digimon, I think that would be really good. And lucky for me, they listened. I think we can all agree that's a little reductionist of what Gekkomon is, but on the offset, that is not a bad comparison.
He's just a silly little guy and he's hungry. But he's also kind of dealing with a lot of the Tomoro's, basically a lot of the ugly sides of him that he doesn't like is effectively the hunger, the lashing out for attention and all that. The trying to put on a face. He effectively is silly because, like, that's how he kind of wants to be and act out. But it's clear, like, it's sad, like, when he yells at him and rejects him. It's like, this is part of you. You were made for and from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Rejecting him is rejecting yourself, and you're only hurting each other because of it.
Which, again, props to Risa in particular for maintaining the very cartoonish voice of Gekkomon. It's probably easier to buy it in the the goofy I'm really hungry moments, but then to maintain that in the very emotional moments where they're like been smacked down, they're fighting a monster that's like a kaiju, and yet is still encouraging Tomoro to get up and I will be there with you. And the line, oh my god, the line in like the very last episode that we watched, it was, what was it? Tomoro asks him, "Will you fight for me?" And Gekkomon's like, "No, we're gonna fight together." I'm paraphrasing here, but it was very much like, now that is good partnership right there.
Yeah, no, honestly, genuinely impressive. Like, I'm very familiar with Zeno's acting chops, and I think he does a great job being an angry, angsty, troubled boy. I really gotta give it to Risa Mae, not only for, like, playing the goofy little gecko boy as a funny little creature, but also keeping the endearing and sweet, but also making the drama effective and compelling and sad sometimes, and also managing to sound really cool when Gekkomon transforms into a goddamn kaiju.
It's like Jet was saying about the flaws with Digimon 2020 was it was just fights, and no one really was invested in the characters. We got to care about these characters and the way they interact with each other. So yeah, when turns into a giant kaiju and there's a battle for saving the digital world, you care about it.
I was gonna say, I do not think the end of episode 24, where Gekkomon gets to be the ultimate Digimon form. What's it called? Oh yeah,
Monarch Lizamon.
Monarch Lizamon. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't give it a shit if it was all fightings. No, I love that little guy. I love this little bead getting to learn to listen to his beat and them coming together to save their family. I wouldn't give a shit about that if it was just all fights, but no, because I have the context and the emotional connections, I care when the intro music kicks in and the transformation happens, and I'm like, yeah! Yeah, boy! Oh my god, I'm 14 again. This rules.
I will say, go ahead.
I was just going to say, one thing I really do appreciate about this show, and it's like willingness to take this side with these two, is that with Digimon and the way the whole evolution concept works, it usually doesn't take too many episodes for the main character and their partner to usually have their first evolution. Like, usually it's like maybe within the first 2 or 3 episodes, like maybe 5 or 6 if you're like really taking your time. Like, I think Tabor's also took a while, like maybe like episode 7 or 8. This one takes 13 episodes, which is a pretty big commitment, but like, man, when it happens, it really pays off.
100%.
I do like that they wrote it that way. Like, it was a slow burn that paid off. And they kept us invested throughout all the episodic adventures, so you wanted to keep watching up through episode 13.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, like, I think this is a team that absolutely complements each other, and I think Xeno and Risa are incredible little mascot leads for this new age of Digimon, and absolutely, for somebody's first time watching a Digimon, I was enthralled.
You got very fortunate. Like, I know the franchise has had some rocky entries into it over the years. I think from what I understand of what's come before it, Andrew, you came on in a very strong entry of the franchise that feels like it's breathing some new life into it for a new audience.
I do not think Jet would want to force me on an episode if he was not confident I was going to at least enjoy it a little bit. I ended up enjoying this way more than I expected. I kind of was putting off watching this for a little bit. I was like, man, I gotta do like 2 episodes. I gotta do like 24 episodes in 5 days. And like, I fucking breezed through that. I breezed through that.
To be fair, you did that to yourself.
Okay, that's not the point. That's not the point. That's not the point, Mr. Hey.
I will marathon all of March Comes In Like a Lion in a single
You knew
day,
exactly!
okay?
You knew exactly what I was gonna throw in your fucking face!
Cannot
Because
throw
I
it
still
against
hold
me.
a grudge!
I will hold it over myself. I'm sorry. You will now have to take some of the shit. But your point still stands. It was very easy to marathon it over 5 days.
100%. Like, this was, like, I was able to get through this. It was, like, this was just very comfy watching. And I very much enjoyed my time watching this. As much as I adored Xeno and Risame as Gekkomon and Tomura Tenma.
Now,
I'm glad Tomura is learning to calm down and is learning to trust others, find a family, and literally fight an evil, corrupt billionaire and maybe almost kill him.
Nothing will make you bond with your teammates more than having a bounty on your head. Now, Jet, I know that... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Not too much more to add. Really liked his performance. Really good job. Despite this very angsty, vulnerable kid, really good job going through the whole emotional spectrum with him. Definitely very unusual for Digimon to lead. Usually not this angsty, but I really like what Zeno brings to the table here. He really does a good job of getting across every facet of who Tomo is, and I really like a lot of that character arc. And Risa's Gekkomon is just, again, really adorable little goofy guy. Really nice balance between the goofy and serious moments. The way you can really tell how good a performance is like, I know we've kind of been making fun of the catchphrase like this whole ending, but the fact that you have that catchphrase and like almost every other line and the performance is still endearing, like, that's a sign of a really good performance.
Absolutely. Now, Jet, I know that you pulled Andrew onto this episode mostly because he's a little new to the franchise and wanted to get his take on it. You had a particular reason for asking me to watch this as well, didn't you?
Yes, 2 reasons. 1, because I know you were Digimon old head, and 2, you are the only one of us who has procreated, so as a parent, I kind of wanted your opinion. How child-friendly or unfriendly do you think this show is?
This is definitely not something that you would show to a Y7 crowd. As a contrast, Leo has been working his way through the Pokemon anime, like the modern versions of it, which is much more geared towards that group. As a parent, this is the kind of thing that I think would gear way more towards you have to be at least middle school age to get into this. Not just because some of the content matter is very dark. We're doing slavery, and we're talking about child poverty and war crimes, and not just those topics, but also because the slow burn from where the fights don't come until like the end of the episode feels like something that you have to have a little bit of maturity to care about. So, yeah, as a parent watching this and trying to gauge like when would I be okay with my kids watching this, Oliver, who just turned 13 and is going into 8th grade coming up, would be fine watching this. I don't think Ruby or Leo would be.
Okay.
Okay, gotcha.
There you go.
Yeah. And, yeah, I guess that's as good as signal as any to move into final thoughts.
Yay.
Oh, this was a great watch. I frankly could have, like, stopped. I feel like 24 episodes in was kind of like a perfect, like, stopping point in a way, where it's like, oh, now I have to actually build up a bunch of episodes to take a couple of weeks to get more now. But I will wait. I will definitely keep watching this because I really enjoyed my time with this a lot. I'm really happy I got to finally check this out. This is a pretty fun introduction to the world of the digital monsters, and a solid character-based entry with some things to say while still being fun and goofy and making these transformations, and like cool lizards with guns still really cool and make the 13-year-old in my brain go, ooh, ooh, that's a cool laser. But like the adult in me would not care if I did not have an emotional connection to this little bat boy or this little hot Wolvermon lady or this little silly gecko boy who becomes Godzilla with like laser swords and like an arm cannon and an axe and like fuck, it's so cool. Shit. Damn it. The good shonen chemicals still work on me. But like you need to work the shonen chemicals in a way where it's like you can tell the chef knows what they're doing and they're not trying to do what they think a child will like.
That's one thing we didn't mention about Kyo. He is an amazing chef, and he deserves all the credit for that.
Good for you, buddy. Cooking's very comforting and therapeutic, I gotta say. I get it.
Which leads us into our sponsorship. This episode has been brought to you by HelloFresh. No.
Stop.
No. Actually, what service do you use? I know that you and Steph have dabbled in the realm of...
we had to drop that because that's gotten expensive, because everything's expensive. But I do like the meal boxes when we did them.
I'm very sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I do use Community for lunch sometimes, so those can be useful.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, this was I didn't really have an expectation going into this because, like I'd said, I hadn't really been keeping up with any of the Digimon stuff aside from the Tri movies. And but just looking at the character designs gave me a really good sense that this feels like something that is a lot more modern and is trying to recapture the spirit of what the Adventure series was like, but for an audience that is, kids themselves these days. And I absolutely got that. This is a worthwhile entry into the franchise that has Easter eggs and little things that make the longtime fans go like, I recognize that. So that's appreciated. But to bring it around to this particular podcast, dub, really well done. A lot of actors who I've heard in other things before. Makes me want to check out even more from some of the ones who I've heard less of. Like, I'm not really... I don't think I've heard Risa May in a whole lot before, but I'm definitely going to keep an ear out for her in the future. Same for a lot of the other performers in this. And the fact that we are blessed enough, against all logic in the universe, for Toei to allow a simuldub that's basically releasing 5 dubbed episodes at a time in batches every couple of episodes is really great. And that in itself is enough of a reason to recommend checking this out in the dub. Thank you so much, Jet, for recommending this. This would have just been on my to-watch list for the longest time. I'm so glad that you said, no, we need to watch this, we need to talk about this, we need to enjoy the adventures of Geckomon and his friends.
Glad to hear you had a good time. I really enjoyed this show. I've definitely kept in the weeds of the Digimon franchise, for better or worse, and while I like a lot of what the franchise has to offer, it has definitely kind of been a bit of a mixed bag, so I really liked it. This one just really came out of the gate running and really strong, has really a lot of interesting things to say. And I think it's a really nice little modern interpretation of the franchise, so I'm glad that Toei actually saw fit to get a dub with a pretty fast turnaround and a dub that turned out to be pretty solid. I really like a lot of the performances here. Really good core cast. And really like a lot of the dub script. Nice job between being a lot more faithful than Digimon localizations tend to be, while also, a little bit of punchiness here and there. It's a really nice balance, which I think just kind of describes the show in general. Just like really, really, that's a really interesting little balancing act between, not sometimes having the lighter tone you need for a kids show, and then while also not being afraid to delve into darker topics. And I think it's always really nice whenever you get a piece of kids media that knows not to talk down to its audience. That sort of thing is always really appreciated. And that's one of the things I really like about the Digimon franchise.
And now let us join hands and pray, because I haven't seen any of the episodes past 24 yet, that the second half of the show lives up to as good as the first half was and doesn't crash and burn by the time this episode goes live.
We shall see. We shall see.
But, yeah, I mean, I'm a little further ahead, at least for what I've seen. Like, the show's still pretty solid, so I'm optimistic.
Excellent. Thank you for being Thank you for showing us that we have a reason to be optimistic. In fact, I'm so optimistic, I want to tell everyone that they should watch the show. But where in the world should they do that?
Pretty decent amount of options with this show. You can watch it sub or dub on both Crunchyroll and Hulu, though Hulu is a little bit further behind on the dub. So basically, pick and choose whichever one you want there. But if you do watch it on Hulu, Hulu does at least have like translated credits, so that's certainly appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess just go strike whatever your fancy as far as that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
But that more or less wraps things up for tonight. So if you want to follow anything that we do, we're the Dub Talk Podcast. You can usually find us on YouTube every couple of weeks or so with new episodes. And you can also find us on other places, wherever you usually listen to podcasts, your Podbeans, your Spotify, just, all the podcast places. And if you'd like to support us, you can do so through a one-time donation to our Ko-fi, or you could be one of our lovely patrons and be. When we wrap things up tonight, I'd like to give a shout out to our patrons. In the $5 tier, we have Jared Pictures, Kim with Soup, Baggins Mom and Dad, Michelle Travis. And in the $10 tier, we have Anthony Brown, Carly Lessicow, James, Julian W., Burlessa Lenti, and Pika Greg. Thank you for your support, guys. We always appreciate it.
Yes, thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much for continuing to support the show.
I hope everyone who Jet just listed is having an amazing summer.
Indeed.
And everyone listening too.
And do you two have anything you want to plug?
Hi, my name is Andrew, aka Classy Spartan. You can find me over on Blue Sky at classyspartan.bluesky.social. I also got a Twitter, but that's mostly just there for the sake of it, because sometimes you just kind of need to stare at the fire from a safe distance, you know. Yeah, outside that, I'm also on Surreal Red Solutions podcast O&A, anime podcast, where I talk about the latest in anime news with my fellow co-host, Jet here.
You can usually find me on the social medias on Blue Sky at Jet Zero Infinity, where I'll usually just be rambling about cartoons or anime or what have you. Yeah, you can also find me on True Resolutions Podcast O&A, and you can also usually find me doing weekly anime reviews on Anime News Network. This season I'm currently doing reviews for Marriage Toxin. I was doing weekly reviews for Digimon BEATBREAK, but sadly that didn't last until the spring season. But I have been doing like seasonal reviews for each of the arcs, so you can definitely give those a read whenever I get around to doing the next one.
Awesome. Good stuff. They are paying you to talk about the Digimons.
Well, more like I was asking if you continue talking about it because they were actually kind of willing to move on from it. So
Yeah!
sometimes backing works.
Be persistent! Force them to pay you to talk about Digimon, fucker.
Alright, Noah?
I am the one who does not have an external podcast. Don't really have the time for that because I
You
am
have
the
external children, which are basically a
I
free
am the
podcast.
Kyo for my own life in the sense of raising children and have to remain calm, cool, and collected. And that is why you can follow me on Blue Sky at Noah Clue. Just mostly posting discussions or observations about the world of animation from around the world, while also letting you all know that, hey, raising a family is a lot of fun. It's hard work and it will leave you many restless nights, but at the end of the day, it is absolutely worth it to have the time devoted to your family. And with that said, I couldn't think of no better found family to share this episode with than these two individuals beside me, so thank you all for making this a fun night of Digimon antics.
Yeah, love you too, buddy.
Thanks a bunch.
And so we shall finish this episode off by singing the Digimon BEATBREAK theme song. Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions. Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions.
I'm hungry, you know.
Into digital champions to... You can cut me off anytime. Save and defend the world.
We're just gonna drag you off. We're
Digimon
just...
monsters, Digimon
It's
are
okay.
the
Just...
champions.
Oh no, it's spreading!
Digi.
Oh no.
Ultimate.
Sorry,
Modify.
okay, yeah, I guess until he takes out this episode, you'll know why.
My name is Angela, this is my show! Da, 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 da,
Get the
da,
heck
da,
out of
da.
here.
Okay, good.
That show was
okay.
too good to be related to that one meme. Good. Go watch the
the-
actual Angela Anaconda. It was a good Canadian show.
I don't want none.
Yep, and...
Aloha.
Yeah. Oh, y'all, have a good night.
Good night, everybody, and Otaku on.
Talk to you on, friends.